Let me check. Let's see. Let me try and let a few people get up in here first.
Absolutely. Put that little like up on that joint right now. Yes,
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
for sure.
Let me see.
Yeah, I've been thinking about. I don't know if I want to pull the trigger though. I was gonna think about just dropping a couple hundred and getting a MacBook real quick or something like that. But
Hey, that'd
I
be
think I'm
cool.
gonna
You know,
see.
I'd be there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a see though because I bought my daughter this Acer a few years ago, and I know that she already got because I bought her editing software to go with it, and I'm thinking I might be able to put that joint to work. So I'm gonna have to check it out before I go get another computer. But
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. Let me real quick. Let me see if I can get food, clothing, and shelter up in here.
Logic.
Yeah.
I see Sean G's in the chat. Will Jackson, what's up, fellas? Dojo Time, what up, Pro Freak?
All right. So let's see. All right. I see Dojo Time up in there.
Yeah, yeah,
This is-
y'all was going in on y'all was going in on that
yeah.
boy yesterday. I was like, yeah, that's what's up. They was on him. I was like, yup. Yeah, because
What's
I ain't gonna
good?
front.
What's
I was
good?
feeling some kind of way toward that dude though. Like y'all saying, y'all got real life proof, from what's going on or whatever. And dude is like discounting your
Man, I was
reality.
about done. I was about done when he said evolution is fact. I'm like, so why the fuck we don't I mean, why the hell we don't share the same um characteristics as monkeys? Look how they swing on trees effortless.
We can't. The
You know
motherfuckers,
what I'm saying?
they like
Look how they
they
can sleep on a tree branch
yeah,
effortless
and they be up there doing that shit with no fear. But they like
with no fear.
they a lot stronger than us too. Like they probably 3, 4 times as strong
Hmm.
as a typical human. Like a chimp, them Jones, boy, they vicious.
Exactly.
Short of having a gun or something, I don't think you stand a chance with like a chimp if you really a wild chimp. If that drone wanted to, they handle you real quick on some real.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's
Hey
crazy.
Dojo and Sean, I sent y'all a link. I sent y'all a link in the back chat
Yeah, he was
if
Bo
y'all want to
Jackson.
join the panel. I got a short video I want to play real quick.
Damn,
Trying
look,
to let a few people.
Sean G just dropped the jewel. He said the baby chimp is 10 times stronger than a human, typical human. That's the baby chimp.
Okay,
Imagine what Pop Dukes is gonna do to you, or Ma Dukes. They gonna run up on you and cure.
man, they'll fold you up like a mug.
Mm-hmm. You be in the bag like Weekend at Bernie's. You know what I'm saying? All folded up, zipped up, hauled off.
It's,
Yeah,
all right then, Sean, we got you. Yeah, they
I
are
can't
pretty
believe
powerful
he's
though.
still
You know
on.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. They
We're
definitely
trying to let a few more people get up in here before I actually start the show.
hmm
Let me share the video, tweet the video. Let me see.
How the hell do I get back to?
All right, hold on. I'm sharing
Yes,
this to my
yeah,
Facebook real quick.
that's what I need to go get up on Facebook. I ain't been on that joint in a minute.
Notice you really ain't been active that much.
Nah, that's because like I've been busy, you know what I'm saying? I'm still working on that house, so it's like whatever little free time I get, for the most part, I'm painting if I ain't at my real job. And then like my girls got gymnastics, and stuff like that, so it's a lot of running around after work, so I just really haven't had too much time to be on the joint like that. Other than like when it gets later at night, but then then I'll be pushing into my sleep time. But that's why I want to get this. I want to get this. Like I said, at least check out what my oldest her computer. And if it ain't popping or whatever, I think I'm gonna just break down and get the MacBook. That way, I can at least make videos. So when I'm idle, as far as not being active on YouTube, at least in my downtime or whatever, I could be putting videos together. Like I started making this one video in my iPhone, with the iMovie. They got a couple templates up in there, so I kind of like picked one of the templates and threw a little something together. It's pretty cool, but I want to do something a little more coherent than this. Like I said, I could probably throw the video. It's not bad at all. It's actually pretty decent, but it's not something I'm ready to throw out there yet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I might slide it to you and let you check it out.
What's this called
I got a
again?
couple. What, the video?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even post it. It's just something I just put together. Like the one is about a minute and a half long. Um, but I'm still kind of working on the storyline. I threw a bunch of pictures in there, and it got some dramatic music and whatever the template offers. But then I made another one. It's going to be the introduction to the show that I put together eventually. So it's got like a little introduction or whatever, and it's just got my picture. It's pretty cool. But like I said, matter of fact, I think I'm gonna slide them to you. Check them out. I'm not posting it. I'm not putting it up on. Excuse me. Damn, I'm having some issues. I'm not gonna put it up on.
Like like Grubs going through withdrawals. You go eat you
Hold
something.
on. Nah, because I'm laying down and I got allergies, and and since I'm kind of laying here, things just kind of try to close up on you.
Mm-hmm.
I got something going on in my throat, but yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna post it on YouTube or nothing like that for the public to see. But like I said, I think I'll probably slide you the two clips or whatever, the one little movie John, and then the little introduction, just to let you peep it, take a look at it.
Mm-hmm. Sounds awesome, bro. I like anything that got to do with music.
Yeah, well, what it is like I said, it's the picture, the picture that I use now, my avatar or whatever. It's just that picture, and it's got some the intro to one of these songs that I made. It's got the intro to that. It's like, I think it might be like 30 seconds long, and then on the screen it pops up. It says Dre Midas, PhD, positive human development. Because I ain't no damn doctor, that's for sure. But I thought it was pretty cool play on words
Mm-hmm.
with the PhD standing for positive human development. So that's kind of like going to be the intro, to whatever I put together. At least that's what my mind is thinking right now. But yeah, I got to get something popping sooner or later. I got to get my electronics right though, because my electronics is on some 8-track type shit. So excuse me. Yeah, for real. I'm like my technology is a little outdated, because I just haven't really been into as far as videos or just social media like that in general. So you know what I'm trying to mean. It's all good though.
No, that Flat Earth Disciple shirt shoulders look pretty nice.
Where you see that
The
at?
the the t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Disciple put it in one of these back check links.
Oh yeah, that's another thing, man. Bruh, that back chat been blowing up like a mug over the past few days. I was like,
I know, right?
yo, for real. Like I ain't even fronting. Like honestly, right now, I see there's probably like 28, 28, the little red jaw that I haven't even looked into. That's how active the back chat has been going. It's just mad messages back there I haven't even seen.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
sift through it and see what it's hitting for.
yeah, it's been going crazy. Let me see. Trying to wait for a few more people to get up in here so I can do roll call. You know how I do.
That's what it do for sure. So what's pop? I mean,
Tiffany
what's
said she's at Love and Pizza. She's at Poncho's right now. She'll be here in a few.
yeah? So what's on the agenda? Oh, excuse
Oh,
me.
but today we gonna get in about flat Earth and stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
I want to talk about this new model. That's probably the most comprehensive thing I've seen across the board. Um,
mm-hmm.
makes perfect
You talking about
sense.
the model that dude was showing on Brother Sanchez show?
Yeah, like I've seen similar models, but they didn't really go into it in depth like he did. Like when I seen that dude do his presentation, like it tied up a lot of whether it was like a loose end or something that I just couldn't figure out or something that I never even thought of thinking about. You know what I'm saying? So it made a lot of things more coherent as far as how the entire system may actually look, how it operates, like everything. Like I thought that presentation was probably one of the best, and when I say one of the best, like seriously within the top two videos that I've ever seen as far as a presentation about anything, whether it's a model, information, a disease, whatever technology, is probably one of the best videos that I've like ever seen as far as information and coherency, as far as it making sense, the validity of it, everything. Yeah, I
I want
thought
that
that.
model too. Bo Jackson said he really liked that model. I like it.
Yeah, well,
Wish I could
it
recreate it.
explains. Yeah, it explains it perfectly. It, it's like I can't even express enough how, to me,
So what if
how
it's what
spot
if
on it is.
what? But like he said, like what if the ice wall really holds in the oceans, but there's other, but the ice wall that are is surrounded by mountains that's that basically debunks an edge being to our plane.
Well, yeah, well, the from what I understood, the ice ring around us, and then I'm assuming because I don't think he really got into it, but I think he touched on it, but I don't know if he really made it clear. The only true mountain range, from what I gathered, would be the one that separates us from the North Pole. There's one there, and then there's a mountain range beyond what they call the Admiral Byrd Ring or whatever, Admiral Byrd Land. So not our ice ring. So basically, our ice ring doesn't have a mountain. Now, if you went out to the next what you would call an ice ring, whether it's an ice ring or not, which I do think it is, that would also have a mountain. And then by the time you got to the furthest one, that it would be strictly mountain, because then by that time it would be, I guess, at the extreme edge of the torus field. So once you went, if you could go beyond that edge, you would actually be in the void, uh, multiverse, or the multiverses.
Hmm.
We live within a universe, but the void contains the multiverse.
So I wonder, was that this multiverse, other life or
Well,
space or
well,
what?
no, no, no. See, space is within the universe that we live in, but that space is the area beyond the rings from the center out. So if there were
Okay.
seven, so if there were seven rings, space would be the six rings beyond the realm or the circle that we live in. It's not literally up in outer space like they presented to us out in the cosmos type deal. That's not how it's
Real quick, I'm gonna show y'all here. I think if I put the chat here, I can block the Hangout link. Oops.
you're about to present your
Yeah,
screen.
yeah. I'm gonna show y'all something.
You presenting to the live chat, or are you presenting back in the back chat? I mean,
No,
in
no, I finna
the
share my screen
hangout
so
call.
I finna share my screen so
Okay.
everybody can see it. Just give me a second. All right, can you see it?
I just went to the live chat. It says still waiting, waiting for.
Okay, I just hit search screen. Let me. Yeah, I'm sharing it because I can see it on the thing.
Yeah, it might just be on my end because I'm on the phone and the phone don't be acting right all the time. So, but yeah, from what I can see, I'm at the live chat and the screen says waiting for, like you haven't, you know.
There we go. What they ain't
Yeah, I think it's now
but
it's
doing that. No, no, no. This because I haven't pushed play yet. I'm trying to have my Hangout link.
I
Let me
know I'm
see.
not gonna be able to watch it though because then it'll disconnect from the call.
Oh, okay, okay.
Is that Karen?
Hey,
Hello.
Karen.
Hello, Karen. How you doing?
Hey, hey, mute. Welcome to Science Academy, Karen. Hey, mute your mic
Yeah.
real quick. I got something to. I got something to show everybody. Y'all are going to laugh.
Hello, Dre, by the way.
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Hello, and making. I've come to say hello. I'm out working, but as I got the link, I thought I'd come and say hello,
Oh well, thank you, thank you. I
showing
appreciate
that
you.
you come to mine, I come to yours.
Yeah, I appreciate you stopping by. You always welcome here.
Aw.
We talk about anything basically that has to do with science. Like yesterday, we was discussing medicines and vaccines and stuff. So I guess since
So
we
what?
got a few people here, let me do a quick roll call real quick, and
What you doing?
huh?
What are you going to show?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm finna finish showing it real quick. Let me do a quick roll call real quick.
Okay, I'll mute.
Which is yeah,
Oh,
it's a real quick. Dojo time. Welcome to Science Academy, Sean G. I see you, Bo Jackson. I see you. Who else up in here? Karen's on the panel. Sun and Moon Group. Thank you for joining. Dre Midas is here. Marianne Pitchler. Sorry if I butcher your name, love, but I see you. And Miss K, Nikki. Thank you for coming. And there's your wrench, Nikki. All right, now I want to show y'all something real quick, man. It is this is I seen this earlier. I was like, man, I definitely got to present this. Check this out.
Yes. Can't hear it though.
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Hmm. I got the volume turned up.
Well, you can hear it. We can't hear it.
Hmm. Okay, let me try something.
Always got to
It,
be a bit of technical.
yeah. If
Yeah, just a bit.
Do you have a microphone?
I got my headphones that
You all right? So just try this. I don't know. It might work though. Play what you're playing. Have the volume on, but unplug your earphones. That might let the sound play through your speakers so we can hear it.
yeah, I don't got them hooked up though. I'm talking to y'all without my headphones.
Okay. Never mind.
So maybe I'm trying to see. All right, let me pause this real quick. I'm trying to see if I can adjust the mic. Let me see. Here go the control room. Let me see. I can turn you up. I can turn you up.
Jamaican, um,
Yeah.
if, if you can hear it fine your end and it doesn't come through, then maybe it's like Dre says, it's about um, your earphones.
Yeah, I don't have my headphones on though.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hold on, default. Let me see. This is default. Let me check the setting real quick. Let me see voice. Okay, let me check this setting real quick. Now I'm finna go back and push play. Let me know if y'all can hear it. Can y'all hear it now?
Nah.
Y'all still didn't hear it?
No,
Nah.
we can hear it.
Uh, what about, let me see. Let me ask the chat. What about, can y'all hear it out in the chat? Could y'all hear the video? I'm not using my headphones. I'm talking freely without my headphones. I mean, I started the stream without my headphones.
See, the only other thing that I can think of, unless it's some kind of setting in the Hangout or whatever you're using to stream, it's probably in the computer where you have to change. It's a setting where it'll allow be played through a particular, whether it's headphones or speakers or something like that. It might be something like that. I don't know. Have you played a video previously that
Did
people could
I?
hear in the chat, or is
No,
this
I
the
think this
first
is actually
time?
my first video. This is my first time doing a video.
All right, so basically what I'm getting at is you may have to kind of like go back to square one as far as presenting like a video and tweak the settings, because that's probably all it is. It's an audio connection somewhere, whether it's
Hold on, let me try this. I'm finna try to present to everyone.
there you go. That
Okay,
might work.
now let me try it. All right, can y'all hear it?
Nah,
Y'all
No,
still don't hear it?
can't hear anything.
What about the chat? Can y'all hear it?
Damn annoying, hey?
they say they only hear voices in the chat.
Oh man,
Marianne Pitchler, thank you.
this is crazy. Well, here I'm gonna do the rundown. Now you see right here at this lecture or convention or whatever, you see Scott Kelly, right?
Hmm.
So a flat earther, he was participating within the crowd, and he asked them. He says, right here. Hold on, let me get to that part.
Click on, yes. I don't mean to interrupt you, but click on the little microphone thing on that.
Right
Click on
here.
that right there. Click on that.
Yeah, it's up. It's
Now
turned
that's
up
your
all the
mute.
way.
Oh, okay, that's your mute. Now I thought maybe it would open up your settings for your audio or something. But
Let me just-
I can read that, but that's not it.
I'm
uh,
not at home. I'm on my
see that?
phone. It's so different on your phone. I'd have to go home and look at my computer to work it out. But I'm not at home. I'm just finishing work.
Oh, look at that hardworking woman.
Morning for you.
What he said, what he's doing. He asked the question several times. There's been bubbles coming from your during your space while there's been bubbles coming from your helmet, and you see how he's playing with his hands. That right there is a nervous That right there is a nervous gesture. You see this right here?
Mm-hmm.
You see how he's
Yep.
fumbling with his hands? That's a nervous gesture because he's been put on blast in front of thousands of people. Right? Look at him. You see that he keep fumbling with his hands, and then he was like, maybe it's jet. He's stumbling over his word. Maybe it could
Yeah,
be
I
come from
saw this
sweat.
video.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe it can come from sweat. And at first he was like, I really don't know what you're talking about. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Of course, he'd say that, wouldn't he? I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah,
Well, the guy, somebody in the audience questioned him about, like for instance, the astronaut, the one guy had his helmet started filling up with water. So he started questioning Scott Kelly about it, and I don't think Scott Kelly was expecting anything remotely close to that type of question. And you can really see if you watch the video, you can really see how uneasy Scott Kelly was talking about it. He was kind of like fishing for what he wanted to say, and like what Jamaica was saying, like when he was kind of like fidgeting with his hands or whatever, that was when he was put on the spot. And his response was like, it could be anything. It could be sweat. It could be moisture from the cooling system. But the guy's helmet started filling up with fluid. Like if somebody's sweating, to the point where their helmet starts filling up. Like, you sure he's not peeing himself? You know what I
and then he
mean?
got booed. The dude that asked the question got booed. They was like,
Yeah. And I think they
maybe
kicked him
because you
out.
was filming in the maybe
What can they
because you was
say?
filming in the
What can they say really though? What can
in the
they
In
say?
the
pool.
pool.
Because they're lying and they know they're lying.
Yeah,
What can they
Yeah. But I saw
that
that and I just
was
kind of thought to myself, I was like, yeah, that dude, he's definitely on the hot seat in that video, and he was for sure feeling uncomfortable saying whatever he was saying. It's just kind of like the rest, like with the rest of them guys or whatever. When you start questioning them about as far as like landing on the moon and stuff, they get all belligerent and irate and whatever else, because they know it, they're full of it.
yeah.
Just the faces that. What's the guy's name? Is it Aldrin that makes the faces?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Buzz
like
Lightyear, infinity and
like the
beyond.
expressions that that guy makes are they like tell it all. Like when Trump was speaking the one time or whatever, and he was talking about space and all this other stuff, and Buzz Aldrin's face looked like he was having personal conniptions. I was like, wow, yeah, it's
Shout out to
funny.
Lou Marshall out in the chat. Welcome to Science Academy. Yeah, that was funny, man. That was
Yeah,
he was just fumbling with his hands. Yeah, then he put them in his hot pockets. See, that's nerd. Either that or he got a bad case of Parkinson's, like Michael J. Fox, who always talk with his hands in his pockets. I'm just saying, you
nah,
know,
that dude ain't have no twitch.
yeah, he didn't
He,
have no twitch though. That's the only
nah,
thing.
he was just nervous. But you expect it from them. But that was kind of one of the things, excuse me, that I really liked about the presentation. What I can't remember the guy's name. I think it was Martin. What's his last name? I don't know. I can't
Oh,
remember his anyway.
Martin Leakey. Lied to
Nah,
me.
nah, nah.
Oh,
It's
That
definitely
name does
not
sound
Martin
familiar
Leakey.
though. Martin.
Um, I'd have to look. I'd have to look. As a matter of fact, let me look real quick so I can get this brother's name right because I don't want to mess his name up. but anyway, that was one of the things that I really loved about his presentation, because not only did he clarify and describe how actually work, or possibly work anyway. I don't want to say actually, because honestly, nobody can say with 100% certainty of to, as to what exactly is going on. We may know to a degree, but his presentation was on point, and not only did it explain the flat Earth, it also he was able to incorporate some of the things that these heliocentrics give us as far as numbers, or if it shapes, whatever the case may be, how it may possibly and most logically and most likely tie in to the system that he presented. And it was very comprehensive. It was deep. And I definitely think if people haven't seen it yet, they should definitely watch it.
I know now since that question came out
I'm
or
My bad.
whatever,
Real
huh?
quick. His name is Martin Kenny. His name is Martin Kenny. The presentation that he did on Brother Sanchez's channel. And matter of fact, Santos Bonacci, pretty much after Martin Kenny made his presentation, him and Santos Bonacci had some conversation back and forth about the model, and so a few things that they may not have agreed on or whatever, but it was an awesome build. Definitely something people need to check out for sure.
Yeah, I was watching a lot of it. He really went into detail, and it really made sense when he said that, what I'm saying, the mountains basically block us from the other ring. And then I thought about it, I was like, how many of these Florida clues, how many times have they used that in these movies with flat earth clues? When you think about the groups, I think it was the groups when they couldn't go past the edge, they didn't want to go over the mountain, so they stayed in their cave. You know what I'm talking about? The grooves. And then you think about Moana, you think about Dark City when they, you know what I'm saying? You think about, it's like all these movies with flat earth clues that basically use, like, you know what I'm saying? You go over the mountain, you're gonna fall off the edge or whatever. I mean, not saying that it's the case, but I'm just saying how they use these flat earth clues, and then they'll write something ridiculous into the script to not make you like really think about it in detail. Are y'all there?
Oh, my bad. I was muted. I was sitting there talking, didn't realize I was muted. Yeah, no, I mean that's definitely what it
Uh,
is. They put a lot of information as far as disclosure in movies, and even and I hate to say it, but to some degree, and like I said, this brother Martin Kenny kind of made that clear, at least in my mind, that to some degree, NASA does tell you things that are basically truthful. But what happens is, let's say we'll just use the typical 100%. What they do is they take 10% of the truth, and then they wrap it in 90% BS to throw you off the true path of what's going on. So, like for instance, Martin Kenny made a reference where the energy that creates the torus field that surrounds our plane is perhaps traveling at 1,000 miles per hour or whatever. And in the heliocentric model, they tell you that we're orbiting the sun, or I'm sorry, that the Earth spins on its axis at 1,000 miles per hour. Well, Martin Kenny is saying that 1,000 miles per hour is actually a truthful thing, but it's not that we're going around the sun at 1,000 miles per hour. It's the speed of the torus field that surrounds us. And then the next ring out would be the equivalent of, for instance, they give you the number that the Earth is orbiting the sun at, what is it, 67,000 miles per hour, when in all actuality that 67,000 miles per hour would pertain to the speed of the torus field in the second ring, whatever. So
But
basically,
what if the actual thing was actually the sun's orbit above us? Like the reason why Australia probably see different sunsets in the southwest or something. That could be a thought, I guess. I mean, that's a thought.
well, yeah, I mean, no, it definitely could be, but like in his model, particularly, and not only his model, but several other models, like about the spiraling carousel motion of the sun, where basically it goes around in a circle, but as it's going around in the circle, it's elevating and it's declining, as it moves through its stages or whatever. Uh,
Hmm.
and that's something that's around in quite a few models. That's where the story of, like, or the tradition of the Christmas tree and stuff like that comes from. That's showing you, that spiraling motion of the sun up and down, as well as the moon, whether it does it exactly the same or not. Like, like, I don't know, but this is kind of like how they tie all this stuff together and ritualize it, and you partake into these things because they twist it, into something that it's not meant to be. And this is pretty much how they control you.
It's like
On
it's like they give you a bit of truth. They give you a bit of, like you said, they give you a bit of truth, and then they throw something crazy into it. And be like, oh my god, that's gotta be true.
Yeah, it's to me, it's kind of like it's like a Tootsie Roll pop. Those taffies with the Tootsie Roll in the middle. Well,
Yeah,
the Tootsie Roll in the middle, even though it's a lot larger than the truth that they give you in this comparison, but the Tootsie Roll in the middle is the truth. But what they do is they take that Tootsie Roll in the middle and they dunk it in a bunch of cow shit, and make it all nasty and put all this fake stuff on it. You got to kind of like sift through all the BS in order to get to that Tootsie Roll center, which is the truth. You know what I'm
basically,
saying? So yeah,
it's real
they,
tasty. That's when you
yeah.
see
Well, once you get to the truth,
the tasty, chewy center. They be like, man, that was good food for the soul right there.
yeah. But that's why I love the analogy. I love using the analogy of knowledge comes in the form of an onion, and it's like every layer has a little bit of truth and a whole lot of bull. You get rid of that layer, you go to the next layer of the onion. It's a little bit of truth
Not
and a
only
whole
that,
lot of
sometimes
bull.
the truth and the truth will make you cry just as much as an onion would.
Yeah. But see, the thing about that onion is that truth will only make you cry is when you dive into it, because an onion doesn't have the power to make you cry until you actually peel it. So you got to peel it and get into the layers in order for that truth of that onion, or that sulfur compound that makes that onion make you cry. You got to cut into it in order for that to happen. And it's the same thing in real life. In order to see what it's hitting for, in order to you know to be affected or on some level with that truth, you got to cut into it and be exposed to it. So that's why I love using the analogy of the onion, because I think it's
Let's
real simple.
let's Professor Sun and Moon right here. Uh, anything you want to build on about that, Karen? The floor is yours, sister.
I'm actually at the bank. I said I just finished work. I'm actually at the bank. NASA. I hate NASA. I've made about 13 videos on my own channel about the lies. They even show it as a biscuit, the moon is a biscuit shaped thing. So they know what the moon is. It's a disc, not a sort of planet thing. I don't know, it's strange because one member has got 100 years of moon rises and moon sets. How comes from the military? How do they know? How will they be able to predict 100 years of moonrise and moon sets? I think you're right. I think they show you a little bit of truth and then they lie about it, or they have to because they have to turn this into a ball, so they've got to lie. And that's what I think.
Absolutely. And the predictability comes from the fact that it's an intelligent design. Everything is cyclic. You look at any aspect of life, whether it's on what they would call a cosmic level, as far as the stars are concerned, down to a microbial level, as far as how biology is broken down to its constituent components. It's all cyclical. Everything is cyclical because it's part of an intelligent design. They can make these predictions 100 years in advance because they understand the nature of the system, and that it just basically repeats itself through a form of birth and renewal and death. Death is not something to be feared. It's just a new beginning. We just have been programmed to fear that and not understand it. And these people basically that run the show, they use it to their advantage, in order to control us and to do their bidding. Obviously, their consciousness isn't as high as ours. It may have been at one point, but and like I said, this is why I love the presentation that Martin Kenny put together, because he explains that that's a product of the Taurus field with the transformation of the consciousness as you move from the center toward the outside. But at the same time, you have consciousness, which would be us, so to speak, that's moving toward the center because we're working our way back to the whole, back to the truth. And then he, like I said, he breaks it down as far as the fallen angels, what fallen angels really are, and how they play into the cosmic egg that we inhabit. So, like I said, once again, I can't stress enough that people, if you really want to get a better idea of what's going on the large scale, the big picture, it's an excellent video to watch, even if you just want to think outside the box.
You know, what really would have, made like that model, like, I mean, the model was already to me, in my opinion, the one. But what really, really made that model so great were really no globalists would have no any rebuttal at all to it, was if he somehow would have added an atmosphere to it, like on different scales of atmosphere, the atmosphere that we know of, and then how the atmosphere should be like on the other side of the ring, and then on the other side of that ring. You see what I'm saying? I was thinking about that. I was like, man, this model is so dead on that he's presenting, but it would have been basically just if if it would have like
I think he
depicted.
did. I think he did address that. And the only reason why I say this is because he went.
Hold on real quick, Dre. You're back real quick, and I'm gonna give you the floor right back.
Oh yeah, all right, no
Hello,
doubt.
Professor Frequency. Welcome to Science Academy, brother.
Pro free,
Yes, I'm glad to be here. Yes, it is indeed. What's up, Dre Midas? I'm here Jamaican
chilling,
time,
bro.
Science Academy class, Pro Frequency. Yes, I'm here. What's up with y'all?
Yes,
This,
sir.
this is what's up. This what's up. Go ahead, Dre. The floor is yours, bro.
Yeah. I was just saying. I think he did actually address that because I know what you're saying. But when he went into detail on the inner ring, which is where we live, he explained, he gave you a breakdown of the atmosphere more or less, and then he even took it to the next level and told you what the layers were as far as the mesosphere, the troposphere, the whatever.
Oh yeah, he did
All
mention
right,
that. I
yeah,
forgot
but
about that.
I guess that I was getting to is, so basically all these concentric rings, if you will, all of the domes, all of these elements are within the other rings as well. The only difference between our ring and the outer rings per se is other than the suns and the moons that are present within the system, the fact that we are the center, so all of our land masses and water are centralized, whereas obviously when you get toward the outer rings, obviously in order to for them to like literally what we would call go around the world, even though that we know it's not necessarily the case, they would actually be traveling around us, so to speak. Whereas with us in the middle, we're cutting across that plane. They can't cut across the plane because it's cut off by the torus field or the dome. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
they could only go in a circuit. How?
Dre, you would have liked it last night. We had Weedy the doc. He is into free energy, and he's had machinery. I'm going into supermarkets, so I hope it's not too loud. Um, he has machinery he's used where he knows where he's sent scalar waves up, and he knows there's a firmament, so he knows we're in an enclosed system.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, I wish I did catch that. And it's funny you say that because
I sent you the link.
the military's been the military's been bouncing stuff off of the dome, what we call the dome anyway, and
Yeah.
they've been doing it for a long time. And like I said before, I think this is one of the biggest misconceptions about the dome. The dome is not a solid surface,
I
although
really don't
He's
think it is.
wondering whether he's not sure whether it's solid or not. He's not sure. It's definitely a frequency.
yeah, see, I think it's energy, especially when, like I said, when you take into account something like a torus field, where that's energy in motion, that basically powers everything. To me, that's not something that's a physical solid surface like a piece of glass, but the energy that makes that torus field or that Van Allen belt, whatever you want to call it, it's the energy is so dense and powerful that you can't penetrate it. There's nothing that you can do to alter it. You know, that's just one of those things where it's not even within your scope to like the at one point in time they were launching nukes up there for whatever reason trying to destroy it if that's the case, but obviously they were unsuccessful with that because it's not something that they're capable of altering or destroying. That came from the creator.
It's like, but
They can't
like
mess
my
with that.
thing on that is like it's it's real.
Oh, actually,
Like,
Jamaican was there listening to some of this last night, weren't you, Jamaican? But
yeah, I was on the
when his
panel.
scalar waves go
Remember
up,
I was on
they
your
come.
panel with you.
Yeah, they come back immediately. The scalar waves immediately. There's no
What happened?
delay when he set the scalar waves up. But he was working for somebody, and someone a company, and was doing work for them. So he had other machinery where he could measure, and he says he's measured north, south, east, west, and above. He knows we're like he said, like a wax seal. It's like a wax seal over us. It fits perfectly.
Hmm.
That's
And he
why I love your group, Karen, because you have so many scientists out here attacking attacking these questions at different angles. Like you said, you got what's your boy name that was on the call with us? Um,
What, last night? Weedy the
yeah,
dog.
Alan, that's his name.
His name's
Yeah.
Alan.
So yeah, so you had so like for instance, you got Alan with his machinery out there testing different frequencies. Then I know you got other people that's probably traveling the world around the world, literally tracking the sun and the moon's movements. I mean, that's why I love your group, and because y'all
Oh,
got
it's a
everything.
people. It's the people's group. It's all about the people.
Yeah, and that's
It's
why I
all to
love
do with the
that's why I
people.
love tuning into your show, or whatever. And real quick, I'll say this, and then I'll give my brother Pro Freak the floor. Um, my thing as far as the dome or the firmament, like I said, when I'm just sitting here looking, and I come out and look at the moon and stuff almost every night and look at the sun, it doesn't seem like it's a solid surface. It
It,
seems like it's just pure energy, like a force field of some type, you know? Like that's why nothing can penetrate it because
yeah,
just
I have stood there myself, going, "What are you?" Can I just say you're in your dressing gown, aren't you?
yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm in a shop. You've got your dressing gown on.
You good? I digress. Brother, Professor Frequency, the floor is yours, bro.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to go ahead and
You're
say
welcome.
shout out to everybody who's paying attention. Shout out to everybody who's who's tuning in today. My perspective, as into physics, since the topic of discussion is astronomy, you know, I guess I would coin it dojo physics in order to say that I'm trying to walk a thin line between holding my composure and I guess conversing with other people. You know what I mean? So when when we study physics, we see physics as a study of matter and mind and motion. Do we matter? As
Absolutely.
people, do we matter? Well, yes, we matter as people. Our feelings matter as people, and our physical being matters. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, if you step on a scale, your weight will show your matter. As in mind and motion. Yes, motion is something. Motion is based on the will. Will is based on the power of. The willpower will let you know what you can and cannot carry out, as in behavior. And so when I say physics, dojo physics, space and time is manifestation. And so the reason I go really in like this, I'm trying to get my boy Phoenix Bars to jump on the panel as well. The reason I go in like this, I heard the discussion yesterday with the biologists, and I heard everybody getting on it and stuff like that. Eventually, we're going to have to take our time with these people. Flat Earth Jamaican Titan, the host of the show. I would like to congratulate you on finally getting yourself achieved and your laptop achieved. Although, one thing you have to take in consideration, my brother, is that your channel is called Science Academy. And so you're going to draw in a lot of different biologists, chemists, physiologists, astrologists. You're going to draw in a lot of scientific people. Now, if you keep mollywopping the people that come in who wants to just debate or conversation with you, your channel will begin to decrease. No time soon, but later. As I'm trying to say, as in Science Academy, we must let the scientific people step in, and so we can have a proper controlled dialogue. I heard you over say to the lady on the panel, excuse me, I didn't catch her name, that you really love tuning into her shows due to the fact because those scientists that tune into her show, they're doing applied science. Applied science, you can get your microscope, you can get a magnifying glass, you can walk outside in nature and apply the sciences. It's called naturally nature science. And so the reason I went on deep on that behalf is because a lot of people they still bunch together the word science with other factual sciences like the science of the brain cannot be refuted. The science of the body cannot be refuted. Now they'll ask you,
Exactly.
how much do I know about the body? And so when I go on Dojo Time next, I'm going to break out all my shit because, excuse my language, I'm going to break out all my stuff. I've sat at autopsies. I've dissected mosquitoes. I see what bacteria looks like under my microscope 2,000 times, you know? And so Dojo Time is never going to let up off academia. You know what I'm saying? It's all about academics. It's all about what you know. You know what I mean? Because somebody can
I haven't
surf this
dissected
world and
anything.
say,
It's
we have
straight
to
up.
just go ahead. I'm sorry. Lastly, before I conclude, we must understand the difference between a scientist and a philosopher. People who keep philosophizing and then attacking scientists, you're sadly mistaken. A lot of scientists, it doesn't matter what field of science, because science is just the study of. A lot of scientists do not like to have conversations with other people who don't indulge in the science that they articulate from. Is because of the argument and the friction. We're always going to get friction when we don't understand something. Okay. And so when somebody says, oh, I've graduated to become a chemist, or I have a master's degree in biology, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're a globe earther. Just because a biologist, I'm a flat earther, right? And I got a lot of credentials in chemistry and biology, you know what I'm saying? In chemistry and biology, but that doesn't mean that you should attack me just because of my credentials. I rest the floor.
Yeah. As far as yesterday, when the biology major got on the thing, he already, it's like he had the attitude that I really don't have to listen to what y'all saying about vaccines and medicine because I'm the biology major and I'm telling you they are safe. He kind of had that type of ego that my college degree says I'm smarter than you type thing. So then when he started coming in and talking about this is real, this is real, this is real, that's why Bo Jackson started going in on it. He wasn't attacking his
The people have
credentials. He
to
was
come
basically
together. That's
attacking his
it.
information. Huh?
No one.
Go ahead,
I
Cam.
mean, there's things like NASA, isn't there? There's not an organisation or anything like that, our side of it, to help us. So basically, it's just ordinary people who are learning or clever or understand having a go at doing this. It's just the people without a great big organisation, without millions of dollars or pounds behind it to help. It's just the people. We need to come together. Otherwise, we're never going to get anywhere. We'll be talking like this in 20 years' time.
I totally
I
agree.
agree.
I
We
100%
need to
Absolutely
all
agree.
come together and just somehow get on with it. We'll never actually know the true shape for sure. We'll have our idea about which
Yeah.
map we kind of follow, but
And
we all
that's the
know it's
thing.
flat.
We always be cordial with these people, right? We always try to be cordial with these people. But then when they but then when they say that when they come up with that, basically I studied this, I studied that, so that pretty much I pretty much know what I'm talking about, as if we're not out here putting our blood, sweat, and tears into our studies. You know, I take I get offense to that. You know, that's when I was like, hey, you know what, you need to chill back and stop bringing on what you learn, because
Yeah, get rid
what
of
you
that
telling us.
ego. That kind of ego belongs to the globe world. You know, flat Earth ego is different. It's about sharing and
Yeah,
caring, as far as I'm concerned, and respecting each other.
exactly. And when people, and like, I know, uh Pro Freak, I know he puts his everything into his science, same as Dre, same as I, same as you, same as anybody in the chat room, right? But so when they come with us, I'm out, y'all teaching lies. And I had one that I'm not even gonna say his name because I know he cloned me, but he commented on one of my videos talking about I hope you and your kids die in a fire. You see what I'm saying? I didn't even feed into
That
it
is
or whatever. I just
horrible.
say what now?
That's terrible.
Oh, Son Moon, you still there? I mean, what happened?
I don't know. I think her
She might have lost a signal or something.
Okay, well,
yeah,
I guess until she come back, okay, I'll mute her. Feel free to unmute yourself, um, Karen, when you get back to the call. Um, when you get your mic worked out. All right, go ahead. It's the floor is y'all, fellas. Go ahead.
well,
Yeah, I was.
I'm just saying that. Sorry about that, Dre. I'm
Now
just
you
saying
good?
that we're gonna always keep spinning our wheels, just like I'm trying to look at her name. I think it's the Sun and Moon. Just like what she's indicating, man. We're gonna always keep spinning our wheels as long as we keep paying attention to what everybody else is doing. You know what I'm saying? The science that I apply, like I said before, and I'm gonna say it for the last time. I do it in order for me to be in order for me to investigate. Okay. When it comes to these panels and us in regards to challenging or debating who we're going to go against, right? Some of us are primary sources, like for instance, Bo Jackson, Flat Earth Jamaican. They're primary sources. They've experienced how these sciences has caused them heartache and grief in their lives due to their children. So there's no way around it. No one's going to be able to tell somebody about their children, and especially when there has been when there's a defect in regards to a vaccination. Now, do I agree with vaccination? Hell no. Do all vaccinate? Vaccination is a science within itself. Okay,
True.
vaccines,
Facts.
virology is a science within itself. My point is this, and this is my argument. Don't talk about something you have not, you know nothing of. You know what I'm saying? That's just in general. That's just in general, okay? Because what's occurring is this. In order for us to make change as people, right? Obviously, we all must band together as people, right? But we're never going
Mhm.
to get that challenge or that discussion that we're looking for with somebody sitting on the other side of the table, as long as we keep nitpicking and arguing amongst each other. Okay, and that's what flat power is. That's why Sanchez's channel Come on in. It should be open, Wody. That's why his channel is so strong. You know what I'm saying? And that's why next in line is Science Academy. I'm loving this channel. I am going to love this channel. Reason being is because this channel is not for pseudoscience. It doesn't say Pseudoscience Academy. It doesn't. It says Science Academy. Science means the study of. Ology, O-L-O-G-Y. So it doesn't matter what we discuss. Flat Earth Jamaican, you're doing a marvelous job, my man. And the way you're titling your videos, you're doing a marvelous job at it. I rest the floor. I'm waiting for Phoenix. I'm gonna give him the
Thank you. It took me about a month or so to come up with that concept. I was like, cause I forgot. I think at first I was gonna name it school or institute. Then I was like, no, like, man, what do all of us have in common? Me, you, food, clothing, shelter, Ace Corner Talk, Dread, Brother Sanchez, you know, Dre, Sassy, Marlena. What do we all have in common? I'm like, we all talk about science, and it don't even have to. It don't have to deal with flat Earth. We talk about aviation. When we talk about airplane, when Marlena talking about airplane, that's science. Sometimes she talks about spirituality and paranormal activity that she's encountered. That's science. You know what I'm saying? We talk about growing your own food and stuff. That's science. And I'm like, how about I just make a channel where we can bring all of these applied scientists together that we can observe and experiment for ourselves. And thus Science Academy was born.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, I mean, no one can deny experience. And that's the reason why most of us are so eager to get on these panels and argue amongst these people who consider themselves our peers or more intellectual than we are. It's because most of us are getting this encouragement through experience. But at the same time, we cannot allow experience to taint the waters of conversation. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, everything has to be looked into. And that's what makes us hella strong.
Facts.
Hey guys.
What's up, Tiff?
Hello, love and peace. Welcome to Science Academy, sister. How you doing?
I'm good. Sorry I wasn't here earlier. I was over on Poncho's panel.
No, it's cool. It's cool. You know, the class is always open. Shoot, I got the house vacant for a few hours, so I'm trying to put in. I guess.
Did you say bacon?
Sean said bacon. He's talking about 4 pancakes, 3 eggs, 2 bacon strips.
To go with that double Windsor.
This ain't Aunt Jemima. I ain't gonna make no pancakes for that syrup.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely feeling Jamaican's channel because it's right up my alley. Like I love science. You know, I always loved science since I was a kid. So definitely think that this is, in my opinion, one of the more important platforms because, like Pro Freak was saying, strictly from the name of the show alone, Science Academy, with the implications that you're obviously going to be going over things of a scientific nature. That's where you actually prove and disprove what's real, what's pseudoscience, what's theory, what's actually fact. You're doing experimentation and the whole nine. So definitely loving the channel for sure. As far as like waking people up, like I'm slowly getting to the point now where it's, even though I do obviously want to wake people up to the truth, it's to the point now where it's kind of like my mentality is just keep putting that information out there, keep discussing and talking about the things that matter amongst ourselves, not necessarily even in a debate format. The people that want the information, the people that are actually beginning to wake up, they're going to seek that information, and as long as we put it out there, it's going to be there for them to digest. As far as waking up is concerned, that's something that everybody does at their own pace. And it's like I'm slowly beginning to realize that regardless of how much you try to impose or beat that knowledge into somebody's head that just isn't ready to see it, they're just not ready to see it. They need to come to that realization on their own. So I think at this point in time, it's basically our duty to put that information out there according to the truths that we understand, to know that we know are the truth, and then let those people seek that information out on their own. If somebody, somebody comes in and they want to debate, I think we need to be a little more finicky or picky about what types of
Yeah.
debates we will entertain, because at the same time, you know, just by what you enter into as far as a debate is concerned has the ability to either stagnate or catapult the energy of the channel. So I think we should be careful with
So that's
who.
why I don't really do the whole debate thing, is just for the simple fact that, if they're coming to debate you 9 times out of 10, that means, they're stuck in their mindset. They believe they are
Yeah,
right. And, I'm not saying it's wrong to think differently or anything like that, but, what's the point in a debate if neither side is ever going to change their mind? Neither side is going to change the way they think. It's not a debate at that point. It's really just an argument.
yeah, it's just
Yeah,
talk.
that's like when we have a dialogue about medicine or whatever, and then and then they want to be like, you're wrong. Vaccines are not poison, or this type of medication. I'm like, dude, we have children that's going through that. Do you have children that go through this? No. So you can't sit
Exactly.
there and tell us. And we see the medication, that what it does to them. The reason why they're no longer like on that type of certain type of medication, man. I mean, it's like, so
Exactly. And that's like,
that's what
people
gets us
like us,
irritated.
we've seen it
That's
from
that's
both
what gets me.
sides. We see how not vaccine, but like we see how the medical field in some ways is necessary, like with things like with my son and organs that didn't form right, things like that. We see how in some ways the medical field is necessary, but we also see that that doesn't mean all of it is necessary. That doesn't mean all of it is safe or, has to be done.
Totally
Exactly.
agree. Like I definitely believe that the medical system could be something beneficial to us as a whole, but at this particular time, that medical system is defunct and it's corrupted. It's being used, obviously to suppress us. I don't even want to say oppress, because oppression to me is something that's beneath suppression. They're
Yeah.
suppressing everybody that has a consciousness, so it's about the
That's why I
suppression.
say we don't need to get rid of the system. We need to change the system.
Or at very least get rid of the people that run the system. But at the same
Yeah,
time, that system is so corrupted and widespread, like the entire thing needs to crash. It's going to be Yeah, it's going to be a matter of literally starting from square one, whether it's with the knowledge that we currently are aware of, or a completely new type of knowledge. Either way you slice it, it's got to be rebuilt from
something's
from
got to be
ground
We
done.
one.
all had to we all
Right,
had to start from scratch though. We all had to start from kindergarten and preschool to learn the lies, and we had to go all the way back to kindergarten and preschool to search for the truth.
right.
We
Yep.
all had to
But
start from square
at,
one.
Hey,
but at the same time, just real quick, but at the same time, but because of the things that we know to be beneficial in the field of medicine, we can't completely abandon the
Exactly.
practice. We can't do that, but it has to completely be revamped.
Oh no! I definitely don't want to be in the practice because, like I said, abandoning the practice, it means that you won't be present to see the flaws and stuff within the practice. I definitely want to stay around and seeing what's going on. It's just and as bad as it sounds, the only way we really can see what's going on is when they're using it to experiment on children that's already sick. You know,
Yep.
Right.
then like that story you were sharing with us the other day, Love and Peace, when you saying somebody was either your neighbor or somebody that lives in town, how they basically use medicinal kidnapping when she was giving
Yep.
her unprescribed her daughter something unprescribed cannabis oil that was keeping her from having seizures and stuff, and then basically the doctor's medical
Yeah, they
degrees
took
have
her
say so over
child.
you, and then she died on their watch.
Yeah. And
I mean,
there's
not
nothing
stay over you, but stay over your
when they,
neighbor.
they take away your rights until you go to court and deal with all that crap. You literally have no rights to your child. You have no rights to the decision-making process, meaning the doctors can literally do whatever they want to your child.
Mm-hmm.
And what makes that possible, and it's actually sad. It's not even funny. Is basically the moment. I mean, you got to live within the system. I mean, I get that, but basically the moment that we register our children with the state, whether it's through birth certificate, social security number, whatever the case may be,
They
technically,
become their property.
exactly, technically that
Yeah.
child is no longer yours. That is the property of the state. That is incorporated property, basically. It's a shame, and people, just don't realize it because we've been
But
tricked.
remember,
Like when you
guys,
get
we
your
live in the
computer, when you
land
get
of
a
the
new
free.
computer or something.
Hmm.
Look, like when you get a new device or computer, and then it says, you get online. It's like, would you like to register your
Damn.
computer?
Yep.
Oh,
Hmm.
I'm back.
Yes, she's
So
back.
like I
Hey,
said, remember,
morning.
we live in the land of the free.
Hey, I'd like to say good morning to Tiffany, my sister Tiffany. Good morning, and good morning
Hey,
to
bro.
Son. Let me slow down. I was asking my neighbor. He's like, "Yeah, you over there yelling." Hey, Flat Earth Jamaica. I didn't want to come in here all rubbity rah rah at the very beginning. I'm up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every day. I beat the sun up. You know what I mean? The sun should look for me because I'm before the sun. And I didn't want to start off all loud, but ask my right hand man Phoenix Bars. I'm loud every morning. I wake up loud, go to sleep loud. I'm sorry. Anyway,
Yeah, man. We know
nice
you got,
bill, man.
we know you got passion for science, brother. We know,
I get loud. I'm trying
we,
my best to
we know,
muzzle myself. It's
we know,
hard.
we know this
Sorry,
not.
I dropped out because my battery ran out, but I've plugged in now.
Oh, you
What
good?
up?
You good?
What up,
Dr. Lou.
Phoenix?
Is
What's up,
Phoenix here?
Phoenix?
He in the chat
Is
or is
Phoenix here?
Nah, well, I heard
he?
he mentioned him. I thought maybe he was at the crib or whatever. So I was just
No,
saying,
no.
what's up to the brother?
Yeah, who's on the hangout now then? I don't
Here you
know
go.
everybody.
Yeah, because that's the thin piece
We,
right there.
Hold on,
we
man.
have Jamaican.
I gotta
We got
turn. I
Oh,
gotta turn Terry's mic back up because hold on. There it is. Okay, I can hear you. Go ahead and say something real quick, Karen. Make sure I can hear you good.
I just said I don't know everybody on the panel. I don't think.
Okay, I was like, well, I'm sure you met Dre. He's been on your panel. Love and Peace. Tiffany. We've been on panel several times, and then you have Professor Frequency right here at Dojo Time. Definitely subscribe to his channel. He really taps into the neurology. You remember I mentioned him on your panel last night
Yeah. Hello
about
I'm trying
everybody.
to
the
tap in.
frequencies.
I'm just trying. I'm just like y'all. I'm no different than the awakened ones. You know the thing is about us, and like the gentleman that was on your panel yesterday, is that being awake leads us to our next way of thought. You know what I mean? It leads me to the way of getting to my thinking patterns. You know what I'm saying? I don't never try to jump the gun. Like yesterday, I was supposed to be on the panel yesterday when you had the gentleman who has his degree in biology on the panel, and he's lucky that I wasn't. You know, it's because you can't convince somebody when there's obviously human life in jeopardy. So any vaccination is always human life in jeopardy. And not to change the subject, but it caused me to look further into it. See, let me say something really quick while I got the floor. All us flat earthers, the way you tackle the globers and the way you tackle this flat earth ideology, that is the same way you want to use your mindset when it comes to the pharmaceutical company and when it comes to the medicinal any other industry. Like him yesterday, we keep the questions and the statements simplified with no aggression, and he has no choice but to squirm. You know what I'm saying? The way I see it is
Mm-hmm.
this: as I just began to look into it yesterday, but it's quite interesting that over 461 pharmaceutical industries come out of India, right? And
Yep.
obviously that you can go to college in India for less than 3 years and become a pharmaceutical rep. The same way India, and
For
this is no
free. For
disrespect.
free.
This is
You gotta
not.
pay
This is no
for it.
disrespect against India or Indians. All right. I'm just seeing what an awake person is supposed to see. But it's quite interesting how they call me and call some of us asking for our information like they're the IRS, and then they rob us for our money. like if we got to pay back taxes. So something about these clairvoyant Indian people, right, who's in control of America's pharmaceutical industry, right? What's really going on? Because if I wanted to be a doctor here in America and I can prove the grades to do so, I got to go through 8 to 12 years of schooling and plus against society, right? But in India, they can get the same position, right? They get the same position in less than 5 years. There is something going on when it comes to pharmaceutical and vaccinations, and when it comes to the medical field, there's something going on. Why are
And
they
bro, it's funny.
outsourcing our doctors? Why are American doctors outsourced? Answer that question. Anybody, I don't give a shit who you are. Answer the question. Why do America outsource their physicians? Why are our physicians coming from different countries? I rest the floor.
Yeah, and you know what? I've always thought that because my granddaddy's my late granddaddy's one of his doctors or whatever, his name was Doctor something. And when he first stepped into his room, my granddaddy's health started failing back in 2009. He just passed away in 2015, but when he said it started fading in 2009 or whatever, I noticed the accent or whatever, and then I said, where you from? I think he said the Sudan. He either said the Sudan or Nigeria, but I know it's somewhere African continent based. And then I think about, like you say, pro. I do. I look at all these. I look at all these doctors, whether they're medical doctors, biology doctors, even evangelistic doctors. You see what I'm saying? Doctors in religion. I look at all of these doctors, people with PhDs and doctorates in science or whatever, that come from so many places like, Africa, Egypt, the Sudan, you know, anywhere in South America, Chile, Spain, and they all flock to New York or somewhere here in the States to pursue their career. And but I think part of the answer to your question, not to dodge it, is because a lot of the education over there, what they're doing, they get for free. They don't have to go through no grants or nothing to get education. So they go over there to get their education for free. Then they can come over here and apply their career without having to pay back those student loans.
And they use the H-1B
And
in order.
I read more.
Right, and they use the H-1B to come here. See, the thing is, the way that the United States is set up, we don't have the educational system to provide the knowledge to do a lot of the things that these other cultures do. Other, like, outsiders look at America as an opportunity. It's a place to make money for two reasons: because they understand how capitalism works, and they also understand that, and I hate to put it this way, but for the most part, they understand whether it's actually true on an individual basis or not doesn't matter, because they look at us as a whole. They look at us as a lazy, fat country that's stupid, and they basically take that idea and they exploit us, and they exploit us through, whether it's the H-1B, where these people get these educations for free in other countries. They come here, they learn, they get the schooling, and then they leave. But for a long time, that wasn't happening. They would get these H-1B visas, and then they would come here and they would stay here. They would build their wealth, and whether they sent the wealth back or they just accumulated, they did what they did. But now it's getting to the point where they understand that the system we live in is starting to crumble. They don't want to be vested in it on that level. So they come here, they get schooled, they leave, they take that knowledge back to their homelands, and they use it to do good for their people. They look at us as an opportunity. Bottom line.
That's facts right there. Did that quite answer your question, Pro? I mean, that was my version of the answer.
That my question is really rhetorical. It's not for any of you brothers to answer. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I do like to say,
right now, I definitely took it as a rhetorical question. This was just my yeah. Nah, that's just kind of my take on how and why immigrants, as far as how they seem to have better opportunities in some instances than the people that actually live here is because that system is set up in a way that they understand, because they look at it from an outside looking in. They see the holes in it, so to speak. They know how to exploit it. We don't understand, or not all of us, but some of us don't realize or understand how to exploit the system because we're born into it. It's kind of like one of those things, like you're immune to your own farts. Like the smell of your fart don't bother you, but when somebody else smells it, it's like, oh my God. But it's kind of like that mentality. So they got a
I
completely
don't know about you,
different.
but my farts bother me sometimes. I'm out in the car
Yeah,
doing
but
my drop offs this morning, and it got killed. It got killed me.
yeah, nah. Yeah, I get it. But yeah, I'm just kind of saying, like, when you're actually born into a system, don't necessarily see the opportunities that the outsider sees because they come from less. So they look at your situation like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that these people ain't doing X, Y, and Z. And it's because you take it for granted because you live within that system and you don't see the value of it. This is why we as Americans, with the reach that we have, the influence that we have, people still to a degree give us some kind of respect, not necessarily as a country or an entity, but they give us the respect because we have the freedoms, or the liberties, I should say, to do what a lot of people can't do in these other countries. And with those liberties, we should be taking it upon ourselves in order to try and further enlighten the people that don't have the access and the free room to do the things that we can do while we can, because they're slowly clamping down on the ability to obtain information and knowledge and also spread it. So it's kind of like we're in a real kind of like crazy time where it's like if people don't make a conscious decision to be on the side of enlightenment and good, they're going to by proxy fall to the default of evil and not good for life, or whatever in general. It's just going to be one of those types of things. It's getting down to crunch time and people need to make up their minds whether they're going to be a conscious entity on this plane, or they're going to be what I would just kind of refer to a subconscious entity on this plane that's not necessarily interested in being in symbiosis with nature and doing the things that propagate life as opposed to destroy it and create an artificial paradigm.
Speaking of conscious or whatever, I guess to try to get back close to topic. Um, Pro Freak, did you see that video with Dr. Phil Valentine? Man, he dropped so much jewels on flat Earth.
I seen the title. I seen the title. I've seen the headlines, and I seen it's trending. But normally I don't follow what's trending. I wait till everybody gets tired of it, and then I take my time to go look through it. Dr. Phil Valentine, man, he's an elder, but he's not I don't consider him. Let me not say what I don't consider him. Let me just say that I do consider him a very powerful elder. My thing is that when I was awakened to flat Earth, right? It's like everything started. It was like a reset button for me. Kind of like how Brother Sanchez will explain it. And so if Phil Valentine, Dr. Phil Valentine, that is, if he had already known of this truth, cut that off for you, burn yourself on me, right behind you. If he had known of this truth, right, then how come he didn't smash on the gas and bringing this truth to everybody else? My thing is, as an anthologist, you know what I'm saying, that when you start to
Exactly.
compile information so much, you come across some real jewels. You come across something that's so divine in truth that you must share it. And flat Earth was a truth that has caused me to awaken to a lot of truth, and that's why we combat the education system, us anthology. Anthology versus education system. Last but not least, I like the fact that how Dre has made
It
other
does. It
humanities
does make you
extensions.
scratch your head. I mean,
Think about it. We
it
don't
makes you
need
scratch your head.
we
Like,
don't need the doctors anymore. We don't, and that's the reason why Science Academy is here. So those who's listening, what I
no, we
mean is
our own
this.
doctors.
What I mean is this: hospitals are hospitals. Look, listen. Let me finish with this real quick. Y'all got me feel like I'm rushing because I feel like I'm gonna get cut off. So I'm trying to just rush, and I just don't want to get cut
My
off. I
fault.
want to just do a little spill because then I'll able to get my stuff together without no jargon or cuss words. My thing is
No, go
this.
ahead.
In,
Go ahead and
in
take your
my
time,
county,
brother. Close yours.
in my county where I live at, they've closed the hospital. Where I was born and raised, I was raised around in a city with 30 hospitals. And so I'm seeing that even though the war is going on and they are attacking, but we don't see the AK-47s, the assault rifles. We don't see the RPGs. We don't see the cannons and the tanks. We don't see the convoy. We don't see any of this because the Matrix has it masked under an elusive look. Everybody's perspective of things is not the way it's supposed to be. Everything that I just mentioned is being thrusted against us, but it's not physically. You don't see it like that physically. The war is upon us. They just closed a hospital out here. I'm studying different states. The way I'm beginning to break it down is this. Okay, this is California over here, right? I'm noticing that every state should be looked at as a different country because every state don't oblige to the same laws. Okay, and so just like Draymond has broke it down about this liberty that causes other countries to see us and think that we are special than them, that liberty is elusive. That liberty has been elusive from the very beginning. We've been the pigs from the very beginning. We are the pigs and the sheep of America. The people of America, we are
All
the
of
pigs.
us, all of us have been born into this.
Yes,
all of us.
yes. And last but not least, that H-1B visa that Dre discusses, you can see the effects of that when it comes to Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley was first located in San Francisco, but now they have little centers all over the world, or all across the plane, should I say. Let me correct myself. And it's
Well, they've
because of
lied
this.
about everything. They've lied
Of
about
course, you have to,
absolutely everything.
The lie, sometimes people call it, this is no disrespect, but sometimes they call it a white lie. Can you differentiate between a black lie and a white lie? Basically saying, is there a lie more strenuous than another? Is there a cold lie and a hot lie? Lies are lies in my book. If you tell a little white fairy tale lie, that's a lie. You know what I'm saying? Or if you told me a lie,
a lie is a lie, isn't it? A lie is a lie.
Yeah.
These people feel like as long as they're telling little white lies, right, that they can get away with it. So what is the description of a white lie? Let me explain. The description of a white lie is somebody who knows the truth, but use the truth as knowledge to bend it. Okay? When you have enough knowledge to bend the truth, that is called white lying. You know what I mean? You can use it to your advantage. And people has been doing this, even flat earthers. If they stop bending the truth to favor them, we can get to some real answers, and I'll rest the floor.
That's all to do with that ego, isn't it? That globe ego, which everybody has to let go of. And remember, I know that Dre talks about it, the consciousness that we live in. We've got to get to this sort of spiritual consciousness, get away from this great big fat dirty ego. We need to retrain ourselves. Even flat earthers think that they're whatever, but they come with these great big egos. You've just got to get rid of that ego. That's what's caused all these problems.
Absolutely.
Well, this is how they've bred us to not like each other. That's what I think.
My thing is, I feel like we need to, especially with Globers and all that, if we're going to try to even talk to them about flat earth or vaccines or anything, we need to, even though we know the truth, we need to be willing to look at it from both sides and remind ourselves, okay, this is how they see it. So, we need to think of a way that we can explain it to them that they can relate to it.
Urgent. I see hospitals only good for urgent care. I think hospitals is what caused these diseases to act the way they do because man keeps interfering with.
Oh yeah, they're not treating them, are they? They're helping make you ill. All you're doing is they're making more and more people ill.
Hospitals are basically maintenance centers. A hospital is basically like a Jiffy Lube for a human body, more or less.
It's called palliative care.
That's all they're doing. They're maintaining you at a level where you don't die flat out, but over time your systems, your biological function slowly degrades to the point where you need to use the medical system as a crutch.
Can I just say, did anybody see, like Josh was showing us how many sort of pills his granddad takes? Oh my God, there was even took us to the fridge. There was packs of pills in the fridge.
Yeah,
I don't know how the man lives.
Like I said,
to
that's
me,
called
hospitals are
palliative
like
care. It's like
to
my
me,
son's
hospitals are like a
surgery.
science lab. and every patient within that science lab are test lab rats.
Yeah, it's like with the surgeries,
There's
on
no
these
way all
heart
these
babies,
pills
these
can
heart
work
surgeries
together.
they do. They're called palliative surgeries, which, palliative literally means it's a temporary fix. It's not something that's going to cure anything or fix anything. It's just something that will lessen the symptoms for now.
Yeah, it's like you got hit with a 12 gauge shotgun, and instead of somebody stitching you up, they put a band-aid on one of the pellets that just happened to stray away
Yeah,
from center
I'm sure
mass.
if you looked at all the instructions and it told you what was in these pills and you looked at them all, none of the pills would work together. They're going to work
yeah.
against each other.
Well, yeah,
Like when I
not only
first,
that, but you're literally, think about it. If you're taking 20 or 30 different medications, that's 20 to 30 synthesized foreign compounds that your body is trying its hardest to assimilate, and it just won't. And in many cases, obviously, these medications are causing adverse, effects to the body, sometimes irreversible. But even if you don't experience, an acute symptom, so to speak, from the medications you take, over a course of time, they
it's
take
still
a toll
affecting
on
your
your
body.
body.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
Particularly
like
the
when I
liver,
It's like when I
so
first had Laz, the doctor sat there and told me, okay, he's gonna need these 3 surgeries. And then, here he is, he'll be 3 years old on the 21st, and he's had 6 open heart surgeries so far. And the last one he had, it's called the Fontan. Okay, the thing about the Fontan is, while it can prolong their life, it also causes the liver to slowly shut down over time. So either way, even if he
yeah.
does do great from that surgery and
Damn.
everything, eventually he's going to have liver problems now on top of his heart and everything else.
Yeah, that's a shame. Just
I have a
compounding it.
question. I have a real question, not a rhetorical one. Because I was gonna fall back listening and enjoy the show by listening. I know it's over astronomy, and I noticed when I came on it altered. And so, in order for me to say it can come full fold. How can astronomy or astrology? Okay, so we have astronomy, astrology, and numerology. Okay, so these are the fields of
Mhm.
science, because this is Science Academy. So these are the fields of science
Mhm.
that they determine that can control our chakras, or should I say our health. And so, is it possible for one of these 3 sciences to be actually correct, or do any of you guys consider these 3 sciences, which is numerology, astronomy, and astrology? Okay, they tie those. They can, if you look at the ancient Greeks or any of the ancients or any modern times, they tie these sciences to the physical human being. Do you guys believe that or not?
I mean, I think it
I
could,
do.
like, I believe that with any science, parts of it could be correct. It's just about doing the research and finding out, what is true and what is lies.
Yeah, I think numerology could be correct. Not how they put it, because we know that they use the numbers to make it fit their globe. Like,
Yeah, because Sanchez could.
I mean, to make it fit their model or whatever. But however, it's like you really can't have science without numbers, and you really can't have numbers without science. It's kind of, I mean, in a way, you might be able to get by, but it'd be really, really extremely difficult, one without the other. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, when we in school, we learn about time. Time is numbers, but time is also science. You see what I'm saying? That just an example. So, excuse me, to answer your question, numerology
Huh?
could be somewhat correct if it's applied correctly.
Oh, right.
Per-
Yeah, if it's applied correctly, that's as best as I can put my answer.
like me personally, I think it's all connected. So on some level, whether it's numerology, astrology, or astronomy, it definitely, whether it affects us or has a hand in guiding us, all of these things are definitely a reality as far as what we are and where we live. Now I'm just going to kind of shoot from the hip and kind of pull it out the air and put it together because it's not really something I'd ever thought about, and I think it's an excellent question. But just from what I've been exposed to and understand, I think the numerology is pertinent because when you look into things like the 3, the 6, the 9, 12, 11, like all these numbers, 33, how they're integral to our reality, what they actually stand for, the processes that they're linked to, like all of this stuff. So just on that level alone, the numerology is, to me, obviously extremely pertinent and a part of us as well as the system we live in. As far as uh, astronomy, definitely plays a part as far as like with your constellations, the stars, these things show us the passage of time. They show us the pattern. They show us the energy that we live within. I definitely think that all of these things are viable. They're things that are spoke about, whether it's ancient cosmologies, ancient cultures in general, or even the Bible and the Quran for that matter. So your astronomy slash astrology, all of this stuff with with the zodiacs and the time period, the cycle, the cyclic nature of it, it all is one giant symbiotic functional uh, entity. Because what we live in is definitely a living thing. So I think everything that's innately a part of that living structure, if you will, is intricately intertwined in ways that we can't even fathom at this stage. We're just beginning to kind of like scratch the surface as far as understanding. So I definitely think the question that Pro Freak posed as far as the application of whether it's numerology, astrology, and astronomy, I definitely think that they're integral parts of our existence and how we move about the plane in a natural sense of the collection of them, not with this artificial crap that they got us living in. You know what I mean?
What was that in the chat real quick? Hold on, let me do another roll call real quick, y'all. What was that? I seen you just joined. Luke Marshall. I don't know if I shot you out earlier. Thank you, Sean G. I see you. I got Professor on the panel. I got Professor Frequency. I got Professor Dre. Midas, Professor Love and Peace, Professor Karen at Sun and Moon Group, Mr. Science Academy himself.
Hello,
Let's see,
hello.
Sean G. Say what, Karen?
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Then who else in the chat real quick? Let's see, Travis Cloud, and Luke Marshall, Bo Jackson, Nikki, I see you. And real quick, what was that said? Let's see, Isha or whatever from the Flat Earth Court is here. But what was that said? Also, roll call, Flatlander. I think I missed his name. But what was that? Just asked a question. He said, "I only trust science with experiments conducted and reproduced in a lab." And I really, really agree with that too. And even though we really don't have our own,
I do partially.
it,
Just I don't mean
yeah,
to
yeah,
cut you.
yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I gotta state this that all scientifical experimentation can't take place in a lab. You can't recreate
Yeah,
every.
that's what I was getting
Yeah,
at.
yeah.
Yeah,
This
that's what I was getting at.
uh,
Even though we don't have really our own four corner lab to do experiments in, this beautiful flat plane is our science lab. You can't do a curvature laser test in science lab. You have to go to a
yes,
beach,
yes,
and that's the science lab right there. You have to, or you don't even got to go to a beach. You can just go to somewhere where you know it's miles and miles of flatness, like Kansas. You can do the laser test on dry land, or Kansas, one of the flattest places on Earth, or something. Oh, okay. He said controlled
nice.
environment.
Nice, pro freak. Yeah. See that and I know exactly what he's saying, but I'm just sometimes
Ooh,
I
that's
don't mean
tasty. I'm
no
sorry, I
harm.
got distracted. I got distracted by Pro Freak's presentation there, but go ahead.
Yeah, I say I don't mean no harm when I make comments like that, but it's just kind of like one of those things that I can't help it. I just kind of got to say it. But my mentality is no matter where you go, the moment that you start to question the environment, how it works, and all the intricacies of what's going on, that particular place becomes your lab. The moment you start to be inquisitive about the surroundings that you're in, whether you're inside of a building in a traditional laboratory or not, it doesn't matter. The moment that you venture out into the woods, the mountains, the airplane, whatever the case may be, with a scientific mindset, and you start to perform tests and experiments and things of this nature, that particular place that you are instantly becomes your lab.
Exactly. But I'll go ahead and follow. Jeffrey's on the panel. What's going on, Professor Jeffrey? Welcome to Science
What's happening,
Academy,
Jeffrey?
brother.
How you
How
doing,
you
bro?
doing?
Hey, Gio.
Good morning, everybody. I just woke up.
The truth never sleeps.
Hi there.
Ah,
Hello.
yeah, but I sleep.
I don't get tired.
It's good to see y'all. I'm just listening right now, trying to
You
get my
too,
mind
brother.
straight.
This was up. He said, "I'll go ahead and fall back. The floor is
Still
whoever.
here, fam. I'm still here.
You gotta mute your mic though, cause I can hear our feedback. Like when you ain't speaking, I can hear my feedback. I'm gonna mute mine. The floor is whoever.
Well, to conclude, what I'm just doing over here is just drawing out these last little few, some personals. That's what I'm showing. I'm trying to get back to astronomy, but I did want to show out that beautiful, beautiful tree. You see how beautiful that is? I know you guys.
Boy, you got me over here trying to roll up my phone.
Okay, here's a different tree.
That's beautiful, man. That is great, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
these are beautiful as shit. I mean, I'm drawing them right now. You know what I'm saying? For those who just barely know me, yes, I am a botanist. I get down when it comes to medicinal sciences. Usually I get down like this with Wendy Blank, but shout out to Wendy Blank. Yes, I miss her. Shout out to Phoenix Bars. I ain't talk to my people in a minute, but yes, this is what I do. I grow tree. I'm from California. You know what I'm saying? And I grow tree. That's what I do. Here's a different strain. I'm just showing
that's
them.
awesome, man.
I'm a termite.
That's a different stream.
I
Strain.
love
Yeah, and the
trees.
thing is, a lot of people like outdoor. You know what I mean? And believe it or not, I veg these indoor and flowered them outdoor with the it has a lot of density. I got my density game on lock, but I veg them indoor and I flowered them outside, and so you still get that earthly quality, but at the same time you still get
Nice.
fire. You know what I mean? You still
Oh,
get
real
that.
quick, Pro Free. Let me say this real quick. What he is presenting is for is not for any type of promotion. He is presenting this for education purposes only when it comes to growing plants. Okay, the
Facts.
floor is yours, Dojo.
And that's correct. You know what I mean? For medicinal purposes only, and this is not for sale, but yeah, it was for sure. My bad for interrupting the astronomy floor. But I was kind of
Look like
this
a
is what I'm
nice
doing while I'm
extra
listening.
heavy
Kind of
eighth
piggyback on
quarter
what
out.
yeah, this is kind of what I do.
Man,
I grow
He distracted
dwarfs.
me
I
with the
grow
good food
these.
right there.
It's about
It
4 or
looks
5
so
feet.
good.
You think? About so what I'm doing is I grow compressed dwarfs. You know what I'm saying? That way, to meet the demand, it's easier for me to meet the demand and the quality when I do it, when I dwarf it. And I don't like going for 7, 8 feeders. I mean, no disrespect to those who do, but I compress and I dwarf it. So I get like about, I'll say 2 ounces off each one. But at the same time, if I have 32 of those and I got 2 ounces off each one and I grew them less than 3 months, do the math. Okay, so that's where the equation comes in. And that's just give or take what I do. It's just, like I said, not for promotion. This is what I'm over here doing. So I can cut my camera off like this and y'all can just hear me talk. Or you guys can see me work and talk at the same time. I do this for a living. I don't file taxes on it. Maybe I should, but man, I do have my license to do so. Well, I guess I
They
said I got my medical card. That's
they get enough taxes up out of us,
Yeah,
man.
they get enough taxes. Besides, I'm trying to get my green thumb up because the warehouse marijuana that's going to be ushering out to society here in a minute. That's not that's GMO. That's GMO. That's
Hmm.
GMO, and it's really just. I mean, the pharmaceutical industry will be the ones who are going to be rolling out the warehouse medicinal tree. So shout out to all my naturalists, the people who like it grown naturally. You know what I'm saying? Because the warehouse weed is not grown naturally.
I mean,
Hey
that's why like
guys, I'll be listening in still, but I'm gonna lay down for a little bit, so I'm gonna jump off the panel.
RDLP. You have a nice I mean, well, sleep tight.
Thanks. I'll listen in the watch page.
And this,
All
like,
right. Well, thank you for
Bye.
coming to class.
see it,
Stay
Tiff.
flat.
Like one of the things with them trying to basically immobilize and really move on the cannabis industry and take it over. They're trying to monopolize it, obviously, and they want to get excuse me, they want to get that GMO weed out there like that. Um, but see that one of the scary things about that, and it plays right into that game that they like to play, that agenda. Um, Now you got this big push with states legalizing or whatever the case may be, and that's because they foresee whether it's Monsanto or a similar corporation kind of getting a foothold in the game and basically commercializing it to the point where, like, you could go up to Wawa and get a pack of cigarettes that are completely all weed, marijuana. Like, when they get it to the point on that type of level, you can best believe, if not before that, that whatever that marijuana is grown in, it's going to be similar to the genetically modified crops nowadays, whether the crop actually takes on the pesticide or whether they're using a specific type of fertilizer, whatever the case may be. This is what you're going to be smoking. It's getting to the point where if you're not getting your bud from somebody reputable, somebody that is not dealing with genetically modified strains and things of this nature, you honestly will have no clue what you're smoking. And odds are, if the government or these large corporations have a hand in it, odds are they're going to do the same thing with it that they did with everything else. And it might smell good, taste good, look good, but it's not going to have that benefit that it's meant to have for you in the first place. And if anything, it's most likely going to have a negative impact on your health because that's just what they do in order to create that that fuel for the medical industry. So it's kind of like one of those things you got to be careful. Just because they're pushing for this legalization across the board or whatever the case may be, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing it because they feel like we can handle ourselves or the time has come. There's definitely an agenda behind it, and just like everything else that's large scale, when the production goes up as far as the quality goes down. So I think that's when people like Pro Freak become integral as far as the strains they create, how they take time to raise the plants. They do it with love. They do it with dignity, honor, respect, and that's a part of the craft. That's what makes the particular plants that brothers like Pro Freak deal with. That's what makes them so valuable, because they don't have that trampled history as far as being involved in a genetically modified type deal. So I definitely, because I obviously get down like that, but I definitely appreciate brothers like Pro Freak that put that dedication and time into that craft, because at the end of the day, this is something natural that it's meant for us to be in a symbiotic relationship with, and without like craftsmen or artisans, if you will, that fit the bill like Pro Freak, that art would be lost. And with that, the loss or the losing of that art, you lose that that information and that technology. We can't allow those types of things to become buried and forgotten. So big ups to Proof Freak.
And good shout out to my big brother Dre Midas for that, man. For real, that's why I really wish I could have been on the panel yesterday. But I'm glad I took my time in regards to the India man, because the guy who was getting his information from India, even though all these medical school and medical academies are located in India, they're still government ran. And I want to clear the airway real quick, because this is my first time on a panel with a frequency with Sun. And Sun, I don't want to make it seem like I'm being narrow-minded by just keep addressing things that's happening to Americans or people of America like that. I don't see us. I don't see countries as titles. I don't see Africa, America, Europe. Even though we're told this is where we come from, my science is a little deep. So I mean, they have to prove a certain couple of things for me. So scratch the names. This is what's occurring to all of us. And you know what I mean? And that's why people target the democracy, because democracy is what's causing these fashions to spread across the plane. Is this is democracy?
There's no democracy. I think it's called communism in some form or another. That's how they've got us.
Totally
I think
agree.
they sent us to boot camp, but they didn't tell us.
Right.
Yeah,
They're
it seems that way.
funneling us
It does.
everywhere. They're controlling everything on the television, on the
Right.
news. They've lied about everything. They've lied about our history. They've lied about the sun. They've lied about what we're on. They're
They lied
lying
about
that
the
people are
time.
fighting. They're making it look like we're always arguing with the people, and the people aren't fighting. They're causing the fighting. They've caused us to hate each other. No, it's not the people. We've been put in this horrible process.
You think that
They
hate
lied about
starts?
they lied about time. I don't even think, to be honest, this might sound crazy to the non-awakened, but I don't even think we're really living in 2017. I don't even think this is the right year, because they added 2 months to the calendar.
Right. The proper year wouldn't be 2017 because
And we're actually a whole lot older than what we are, for the simple fact that them 2 months added months. Without them, the year would have went by quicker and quicker and quicker.
yeah,
So
well
we're actually
that
a
would
lot older
make us younger,
than we are.
wouldn't
Or
it?
if you were
But
aged by every day,
but
if you
but
counted
but
every day, you know, what I mean, day one, day two. If you like Jamaica was saying, if every day was taken in consideration, and which I'm sure we all do, take every day in consideration when we wake up. But if every day is looked as a new life, a new chance to harbor that avatar, which is our bodies that we're in, if every day is counted as one, and we keep going, that's why numbers are infinite, then we would be a lot older than we would be if we counted by years. You got to think, a lot of these systems
We
are
don't even know how
indoctrinated.
much of our history is correct, do we? It's all such a lie.
exactly.
We could
I
have only
know.
been here a short amount of time. We won't know because they lied. They haven't told us the truth about the pyramid people. I mean, they had like waterproof things. They were using crystals. They were using energy. They were doing so many things. We don't even know about those
Quartz.
people.
What are them rocks called? Quartz. I can't pronounce it, but quartz. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Them.
Quartz and
Quartz is
amethyst.
quartz. That's a crystal. Amethyst is a crystal. A
Yeah,
What I'm
like how
quartz.
they
saying, what
be
I'm trying to
using that.
say is, they've lied to us about those people. They seemed very, 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 very advanced compared to
Right.
us. And they've
Because
lied
Them
so
about
that
motherfuckers
was an
good
us.
era.
gas.
It's interesting that there was an era of humans living upon the face of the plane at a certain time that was highly advanced than we are today. And so with that said, should we ponder upon maybe a astrological destruction that caused this civilization to vanish, or did they do it to themselves?
I'm not sure what the pyramids were exactly, because you know what? Someone could have just got greedy with those things and caused these. If you you have to do it on Google Earth, unfortunately, but you can find all these great big electrical arcings. If you were caught in one of those, it would have evaporated you. It killed most of the people. Can't tell you how long ago it is, because none of us can tell this, can we? Because we don't have something like, say, NASA behind us, a big organisation, which I was saying before my phone died. We haven't got some big organisation helping us. We're just the people doing this.
You say it would basically disintegrate you into thin air, like
Yeah, those electrical
a powerful
arcings
laser.
would have been. It's on Sun and Moon Group, the original one. We've had many hangouts about that. these great big electrical arkings happened. You can see where it went in and went out. Now that would have destroyed the people, and we all know that there are underground cities that we lived under the ground for a while. Maybe that's when we just got destroyed with these electrical arkings. And once they started, a member of the Sun and Moon, Chris Monk, he reckons that like the Grand Canyon is a result of this arcing happening, everything flying up in the air, and when it landed as the Grand Canyon. But if you understand, it's kinetic energy, so it would have been a bit like, you know how hurricanes happen and it picks things up and drops things down. It doesn't destroy everything, does it?
We're about to trigger Sean G up in a minute because me, him, and Dre had a discussion about the Grand Canyon, how it was created and stuff, and how
I mean, they've lied about pyramids, haven't they? They made it look like the pyramids are only really in Egypt, but they're not. They're all over the world.
They're all over the world.
I've got one 20, 30 miles away from them.
Yeah, so do we. They're called mounds in here. America.
Yeah, they called it Silbury Hill, and they didn't know what it was. And then I came across it actually in the pyramids of the world. Nobody around here will know it's a pyramid. No one around here will know that Silbury Hill is a pyramid of the world.
Mm-hmm. It must be pretty huge. It's shaped out like an area.
I don't think it's huge, but there's something significant about this pyramid, I think.
And it probably just looks like literally like a big hill or something. It probably doesn't look like covered in foliage.
Day, but you can't sit on it anymore. But hardly anybody around here will know it's a pyramid. And right next to it is a stone circle.
And that's probably, I mean, judging from what I understand, that's pretty much indicative throughout most land masses that have the pyramids. Like people didn't realize that they were looking at pyramids until they started comparing the data and then having the aerial view. That's when it became apparent that, oh, we're actually looking at a structure. And then, you know, obviously the investigation would go further and they would realize that it was some sort of pyramid. Shoot, I think it's either maybe South America or somewhere else. I'm not sure, but it might even be over in the Orient somewhere, possibly in like whether it's China or Japan or something. I don't know, but it's like one of the biggest pyramids, if not the biggest pyramid in the world, and it just literally looks like a giant grassy hill. More or less.
This is what this looks like. You know, I used to go visit and think, you know, oh, it's some strange hill. I wonder whether it was these stone circles had moats around them. So I was wondering whether it was the earth from that. But now I know it's a pyramid. Yeah. No wonder I like sitting on it.
That's funny. When we bring up the Grand Canyon, cause when I seen these these college students, they sent up a high altitude balloon, but the camera wasn't facing out on the horizon; it was facing straight down. And when they got up to say, I don't know, 50 to 60,000 feet or whatever, it might not even been that high. It's probably about 1,000 feet. It showed a great range distance of the Grand Canyon, and it just looked like a crack in the earth, like a crack in the earth's ground. I mean, a very deep crack, a very big, deep crack, yes, but when you see it as a whole perspective, that's exactly what it looks like. It just looks like a crack in the earth, like. So it just makes me wonder, like, had there been a crack in the earth, was the elevation much higher than what it is now, or are we much lower, or vice versa? You see what I'm saying? Because you can see like different sediments, different layers or scales of the earth over the Grand Canyon from a high altitude vantage point. Oh no, I'll fall back.
We're never going to quite know, are we? Because they've never told us the truth about anything. So how do we know how old those pyramids are? I mean, how we ever believe there were burial chambers? They're big batteries. They're generators. I'm just not told the truth about anything. And until they tell the truth, until somebody does something about it properly, it's all going to be...
I agree. We're really never going to learn. I mean, know the whole truth. It's like the truth is being suppressed.
All of it.
By the freedom to look for the truth is being
oppressed. This globe, aren't they? They're fighting to keep this globe.
You know what? Real quick, like Karen, you said something that kind of sparked like a thought. When you were saying that, I'm assuming it's Chris Monk that presented the idea or whatever with the arcing, creating the
Yeah.
Grand Canyon. Have you ever seen? Have you ever seen I think it's a Lichtenberg, like it's electricity. Like some people use it to paint, like they'll create this arc.
Well, do you know,
And
he reckoned that the people at that time, there was many of them, they were actually watching in the sky, these rings going up in the sky. And this was slowly going to happen. There was slowly going to be these electrical arcings. And they're actually wearing them as headdresses. You know, it's in their culture, the rings on their heads. They were wearing, you know, in their pictures that they drew. But it eventually happened because it was going to happen because of this build up. It just happened. But again,
Good morning.
we can't prove anything, can't prove when it happened. But there are underground cities. So maybe when the Arkings happened, we lived underground.
yeah, see, oh man, that's
Sorry.
what is yeah, what I was saying is like when you get a chance, just look up a like Lichtenberg. I think it's like I'm trying to see how you spell it. I think it's Lichtenberg or something like that. Well, anyway, what it is, like I said, you can take and create an electrical current basically, and when you apply it to a medium, say like paint or something like that, the way that this electrical current spreads out, it kind of, when you said that, I just kind of got this picture. It almost resembles the Grand Canyon identically, like how you have that main vein, if you will, that reaches out like a lightning bolt, and then you have all these little crooked, jagged lines that kind of shoot off to the, laterally from it, which is kind of how the Grand Canyon looks. And when you said that, maybe it was a
Yeah,
result from the
he feels that's
arcing.
happened because of the what's showing, what's left. It's as if
Yeah,
it's as if someone
yeah.
banged the ground and it all jumped up in the air, and when it landed back as the Grand Canyon. And he reckons it was an electrical arcing that caused that. Because of where the arcing went in and out and around, there is proof that there's electrical arcing around the Grand Canyon.
Huh. Yeah, actually, if somebody wants to look up that process, like I
I
said,
mean,
it's
it's
called.
on Sun and Moon. I could probably find the video for you.
Well, as far as the Lichtenberger or whatever, like this, I guess that might be the guy who either developed the machine or discovered the phenomena or whatever. But it's spelled Lichtenberger, Lichtenberger.
Okay,
But
let me see if
any,
I can bring it up real quick. I mean, go ahead and keep talking. Let me see if I can bring it up.
yeah. So when you look into this process, Lichtenberger or whatever, however you say it, it basically shows you how when you create this electrical arc, like I was saying, like you can take and apply this electrical arc Lichtenberg style to like a painting canvas that has wet paint on it or a piece of wet wood, and it'll make like all these crazy looking lightning bolts that just kind of go through all, wherever that voltage is kind of like, touching. So when she said that, I just kind of had this picture like that Lichtenberg effect was somehow created with these rings that have this plasma arc, and when that electricity hit what is the Grand Canyon, that shape that it has, perhaps that's the signature of the Lichtenberg spreading out, that charge. I'm
What is it
wondering if
called?
that could.
Lichtenberg? What?
Yeah, how you spelling that? How do you say? Go ahead.
Lichtenberg. Like if
Yeah.
you look up Lichtenberg paintings,
Lichtenberg figure. That's what it's called.
or yeah, okay, that might work.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's Lichtenberg figure. I'm looking at it
All
right
right, now
now.
you see how
Oh,
that
are
that
you on a computer, Gio?
No, I'm on a tablet. I'm able to do split screen, thankfully.
Carl, I'm gonna say
More
I
than
can show
likely.
you.
I've
I
got the
can show you a
video. Do
screen.
you want me to send you the link?
Yes.
Well, I was gonna do it where I can share the screen and everybody can see it.
I can't do it on my phone. I'll have to put it in the chat
Okay,
on
that'll
the
work. Yeah, do
video.
the chat and then I can copy it to the search bar and then I can bring it up.
Hang on, I'll just go here. Oh, I can't put it on the. Oh, I can put it in the chat.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, like when she said that though, that was like the thought
There
that
you
jumped into
go.
my mind.
It's in the
Thank you.
chat.
And now I think I want to go
Sun and moon under me.
like really look into this.
I got you. I had you as a wrench already, so I knew it was
Thank
you.
you.
Mhm.
I've put it in the chat. It's about 20, 30 minutes.
Okay. Just give me a second here.
Yeah, but take note of the shape of that electrical charge, and then if you could maybe get an aerial shot of the Grand Canyon and see if that electrical charge, the way it spreads out, and the Lichtenberg figure or whatever, kind of seems like it would be compatible as far as shape as the Grand Canyon. That's kind of what I was getting at. And when she said that about the arcing, like, man, I almost had an aha moment.
All right, let me bring up the chat real quick. Okay. Okay, I finished sharing my screen.
It'd be worth watching that video.
Let's see. I know y'all
Maybe
won't
you
be
have
able
to
to
do
hear
it in
anything, but
your, after the hangout, but that explains.
I know. Let me share my screen real quick.
Yeah, well, with that, I don't know what's in the video, but they're probably just basically telling you how the process creates, that charge that you see, whatever the case may be. You might not even have to hear it if you just see the shape. That's kind of like where I'm at with it right now.
That's Chris Monk explaining it. I know you can't hear it, can you?
Yeah, I like Chris. He's the man.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
He is the man. He's so cool.
And he's extremely polite and cordial.
Yeah, he's lovely.
He's got to be like one of the most even keeled, nice people I've ever come across in my life.
Volcano or UFO.
This will be him showing the electrical arcings.
That is weird. What did create this crater?
Well, see, I
We can't hear
understand the
it, can we?
arcing.
But yeah, that's it.
Nah, I understand the arcing that she's talking about and how it can create a pit. And I've seen this firsthand, like
I have an
with
idea.
guys welding at work.
Wait, let me see if I can hook my laptop up to the TV and play the audio with my mic on. Maybe I'll be able to hear it. Let me try that. Give me a second.
There's some serious echo going on.
Yes, it's coming through Geo's mic. Use your mic real quick, Geo. Until you want to build on something.
Yeah, now you good. He did.
All right. Y'all go ahead and keep building. I gotta hook up my HDMI cord real quick.
Yeah, now I was just saying, like if you've ever been unfortunate enough to be around some electricity that arcs accidentally, the damage is whoa. Now, for instance, I'm gonna give you a scenario. This is something that actually happened that I seen with my own two eyes. Was like within 60 feet of it or so. So we're at work one day, construction. The operators in a 235. It's a large excavating machine. It's a tracked machine that sits on a turret. It turns in circles with the big arm. It's got a bucket on the end. Well, The bucket that he was digging with was a 4-yard bucket. That is a very large bucket. So the thickness of the steel on the 4-yard bucket is probably, in some cases, like if you're at the pads on the side, it can be almost 2.5, practically 3 inches thick, depending on the actual size of the bucket. So just imagine a 2.5-inch solid piece of steel. In some cases, like if you're at now, the moment that bucket ripped into that power line,
I'm gonna stop sharing
blew,
right now so I can
it
have my
blew
link.
it blew a hole in the side of this 2.5-inch steel, perfectly clean hole. Like, yeah,
Oh, is that Sean
the
G
power of
there?
electricity.
It is. Hello.
Sean
Hello.
G, welcome to Science Academy, family.
Sean G.
Hello there.
How you guys doing?
So I'm glad you're here. Sean, have
Hang
you
on.
ever
Hang on, my mic's all messed up. Give me 1 second.
Go
How
ahead.
you guys doing?
all right. Yo, have you ever witnessed an excavator hit an underground power line?
Oh, that's fun. That's real fun.
Right. The destruction that bucket takes, that steel bucket, is no match for a non-intentional electrical arc. That's not literally blew a hole in a
Those things,
steel bucket.
yeah, they take out pens. I've seen them blow up solenoids in the back of the engine
Mhm.
compartments. I've seen guys get shocked and drop straight to the ground.
Right. And we actually had another instance, and this was unfortunate because the guy actually died. He was in the excavator. He hit an underground power line. Now, when he did that, had he stayed inside that machine, he would have been okay because that machine is energized and he's a part of that machine. He's naturally grounded. So the problem is when he got out of that machine, what he did it killed him. He stepped out on the tracks and he jumped from the tracks of that machine to the ground. The moment that he hit the ground, basically he got zapped and died. What
Yeah,
he
he
should
just grounded himself.
Yeah, what he should have did, he should have been holding on to that machine before he put his foot on the ground. That way that energy can dissipate and he would have exited and been completely fine. Well, that man lost his life because he stood on his tracks and he jumped down off of that machine and kaput. That was the end of that. And it's a shame, but this is the power of that electricity. So when she speaks, on behalf of Chris Monk about these arcing phenomena, I kind of like take note to them because they're extremely powerful.
Yeah, that's why
Plus the fact he researched it, he actually did a
Yeah,
presentation,
yeah,
Yeah, he's a
that's
really clever bloke, Chris Monk. He's doing volcanoes at the moment.
I want to see that. I gotta get on his information about that because that's
Yeah, he
gonna be
hasn't
interesting.
finished yet, but he's doing volcanoes right now.
Is he on the electromagnetism?
Oh yeah, he's into electromagnetics and all that.
All right, so
I
I
gotta
think
connect with him too.
I know where he's heading with that, man. That's sweet. I gotta check him
I
out.
think that's all to do with electricity. Everything's to do with electric, isn't it? Because we live in an electric place.
Absolutely. And it's
Yeah,
to me it's a combination. Like at one point in time I thought that volcanoes could have been something that wasn't natural, but I completely believe they're a part of the natural system, and that volcanism comes from whether it's a constant energy that's present through the torus fields. It could be a result of maybe some sort of a friction, with the ebb and flow, if you will. Not that necessarily applies to rock, but rock expands and it contracts on a large scale. Maybe that's what causes it to become super hot and turn to magma, or whatever they call it, lava. So it's definitely interesting. I got to make sure I go check him out when he starts dropping that.
what's called? I just started looking up and start researching and finding something called a super thunder quake. It's a man-made lightning bolt.
Can I just say,
Okay, y'all.
Dre,
I
do
was
you want me
able
to
to
put? Do you want me to
put
put that link of that video in the chat, the Hangout chat that we have?
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
I
Okay,
mean,
I'll
yeah,
do
you
that.
can. You want to? I played a
Thank
little
you.
clip of it, and I was able to hear. Uh, I was able to hear like the video through my TV. So let's see. Y'all mute your mic and let me see if I can play it now so y'all can hear it. Let me turn my volume all the way up. All right.
I'm actually about to head out, y'all. I got stuff to do today.
All right then, family.
Yeah.
All right,
Peace out,
Everybody
Chill,
Chill.
join.
Joe.
Take care,
Peace
brother.
out, Dre. Peace out, Shanji, Jamaican Titan, Dojo Tag.
Thank you. Hello. Goodbye.
All right.
I'll take it easy.
See you later.
Not this. This is actually a good opportunity. I'm definitely gonna be listening in, but I gotta head back to work, and I need to make me something to eat real quick. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna just stay on. I'm just gonna mute, but I just wanted to say in case you guys don't hear nothing from me for like the next hour or whatever the case may be, and just realize I am here. I'm listening in, and for whatever reason, I just can't talk. But I just want to say, thanks to Jamaican Titan once again for having the brother on board. Mad respect, and I'm proud of you that you got your John, your channel up and kicking. And I look forward to building with you as well as Pro Freak, Sean, Karen, everybody, Jeffrey, Bo Jackson,
Oh, it's always
everybody.
a pleasure, Dre.
Yeah, I just want to say that in case I don't say nothing. Just once again appreciate it. Thank you very much to all of you. And mad peace, love, and respect to each and every one of you. And I'm going on mute.
Same to you, brother.
Okay. Okay, Dre.
Yeah, what I'm about to say, but yeah, let me go ahead and I'm gonna try to get this video started again. Just give me a second. Let me do a roll call to Nicholas Cabal. He's in the chat. I see. Thank you. Welcome to Science Academy, my brother. Now let me get back to this video real quick. Where are you? There you are. All right. Did y'all hear that?
Or something.
Yeah, we heard that.
Okay. Cool. I'm finna go ahead and let it play then.
And there's a hole right up on this particular crater, and you can kind of see in the first picture there, it's more of a mound than it is a crater. It's quite a large one. When you look view from the air, and I thought it was really interesting because it's got basically a huge crater of limestone rubble, and you can see it's probably 100 or more feet high because these are trees, very full-grown trees, so it's a couple hundred feet high, and it's got this perfect raised dome in the middle, with this pile of rubble around it. And so I started comparing that.
Oh, look at that.
Some other pictures here. So this search, just so you can see how I'm kind of doing it, is went to electric universe geology, arc strike, as keywords, and brought up some similar pictures of formations. So there were a few questions where people were asking where some of them are raised rather than the hole, and some of them are raised up. And that has to do with the polarity change. And this picture here's a good example. So these are laboratory experiments done by Dr. C.J. Ransom. And what he did is he took various powders of different elements, like, some were lime powder, and some were talc, and some were.
And real quick, and I like how he got it. The craters are electric because that's much more believable than the craters being of some type of impact. For the simple fact, you don't see any type of dragging along the ground where because with that much force coming into the atmosphere, it's gonna leave a drag, like a drag crater or a ditch. It will leave a ditch, if you will, before it comes to a stop.
Where clay and dirt, and metal, and everything else. And then he just zapped them with electric charges. And you can see that, especially the first 3 or 4 there, look exactly like that crater does. So you have the ring on the outside and the raised dome in the middle. And it creates the perfect crater. It looks exactly like that one in Russia. Right here now, so that I checked out the what the stone actually was. It's a limestone, so it's a dielectric. It's not like iron, so it's a negative type of ionization that happened here. And it pulled all the stone right out of the ground and then fractured it in a single spot. So then what I did is look at it in a little more detail. There's some interesting things that I noticed in this article when I read through it. One is that of course, they think it was, the main theory, what they think caused it, they're still saying, oh, it's part of the Tunguska meteoroid. It exploded over the Tunguska region, but there was never any meteoroids found. Like, never found any actual meteor remains in either location in 1908. But this one here is dated about 400 years before that, when they took cores of the trees. And there's some trees there's no trees that grow on top of the crater, but there's trees around the base of it. And they found some of the trees were, I think, 480 years old, according to the article, roughly. But the interesting part about the trees is that trees that started growing initially after the strike grew at a rate twice as fast as the surrounding trees, and further away from the strike. They grew twice as fast as any other tree in that region. For the first 40 years of their life, their growth rates were twice as large as anything else in that area. So I thought that tied well in with Ken Mueller's done some work on that too, where he put plants in a negative field and plants in a positive field, like magnets underneath the plants. One was positive, one was negative, and the plant negative grew twice as fast as the one was positive. So I think that's probably the reason why the trees grew so fast after the strike. So it's a fascinating little article. And then they kind of back it up with what we were talking about.
See, look.
Before.
Oh shoot! Let me back up to where was the crap? I tried to get it. It's right here. It happened so quick.
Grew so fast after the strike. So it's a fascinating little article.
No.
And then they kind of back
right here. Now look, now you can tell that this crater, if you will, was not caused by any meteor. Cause where's the drag? Where's the, you know what I'm saying? Where's the impact? The impact of the drag. This should have been left. If this crater was left behind for millions of years, as they claim, or a crater like this, the drag of it dragging along the ground before it came to a complete stop would be there as well. Actually, the drag would be deeper because as it drag, it would be deeper. It would dig deeper and deeper into the ground until it comes to enough ground to stop it. Until it goes under, you know what I'm saying? Until it goes into the ground far enough for it to stop to its force. So this right here was actually caused by some type of frequency or energy of some sort, but it wasn't the type of kinetic energy called that will come from a meteor or asteroid. This is interesting stuff. This is interesting stuff, Karen, and
yeah.
I mean, I'm speechless.
Now you need to watch it.
You see,
it up with what we were talking about before, other than just the shape of it. I went to This is the Wikipedia article on it.
Potoscamy.
And so it seems that, it's interesting because when mainstream science fails to come up with a logical explanation, they first say it's a meteor, but then you can't prove it's a meteor. They come up with a theory that it was some sort of a UFO that was shaped like a cylinder. So they think that there's a UFO that was a cylinder that hit the ground and then went into the ground, kind of vanished because it was more dense and it sunk into the ground, left this mound of rock behind it. So they think there's a UFO underneath it, right? So they default to the UFO theory.
Which they want to do, don't they? Which they want to do. They want to take you there.
Oh yeah, they want to push that agenda for sure.
Right, yeah. They find these, takes you away from the truth, right? But they don't want to say, oh, so it was an electric strike, right? And then we'll switch screens here because I want to show you how I kind of know that it was electric and the proof that it was electric. I'm going to switch and share this other screen here real quick. I can.
Ready to change, Chris.
Yeah, gotta get it down to science. So I'm just gonna jump back to the Google Earth ball thing because the quickest way to show this. Okay, so I went to
it's just it's the easiest way to show things on a hangout, isn't it? When you've got these windows open and stuff. Hey, carry on, Chris.
Yeah, if I had a real map that had all the detail on it and all the layers, which we could zoom right into the crater, I would use that for sure. This one's not very accurate when you're trying to measure degrees. It doesn't work. So there's a crater on Google Earth. You can see it from the top on the pin. So naturally I go, okay, so if this is one of the poles, there's got to be another pole actually in basic size, shape, and it can't be that far away within reason. And this is a fairly small crater, quite localized, so it's not like it's a secondary hit. Right? This happened 5 or 6 people.
This part right here stands out, like sort. You know how you see a lot of faces in rock formations and stuff? This stands out in that crater. That crater seemed like it was like the mouth of, I don't know, maybe I'm just being weird, but this does stand out like a face on a typical rock formation that we see all over the world that's shaped like something, let's say Titans, as if Titans or somebody used to roam the earth. The Titans like Gaia and Kronos and Atlas, those type of Titans or whatever. Or was Atlas a god? I can't remember. But this kind of stands out. Like maybe it's some truth to those myths that we all learned about. I'll continue though.
Here, so it's pretty small really when you think about it. But it still has matching negative. You go over to this side, and I found the opposite pole, and the opposite pole is a perfect spherical lake. It's been filled in the water, and it looks like a negative. Now this one's interesting because I think it's actually a double negative. I haven't really seen that many of those.
Oh shoot, sorry.
Which is why this one.
What's a double negative then?
Because this one, yeah, this one here is like, so this is definitely had negative. It looks like it had negative polarity because there's no iron in it, so there's no positive magnetic materials really. Because limestone is kind of a dielectric. It's not really, it's diamagnetic. It's not, overly magnetic. It's not like ferrous iron or magnetite or anything of that type of iron ore type of material. So it's more like salt, right? It's more like a limestone, more like a salt dielectric. And that's why it has this, it doesn't have those features. It has more of a rounded feature. So it's probably almost deep underground, and then maybe pockets where it's just kind of semi-hollow. Well, it probably was the moon made of it. And then this one here is also negative, right? But it matches it in size and scale, and it's about 6 kilometers away, and it's the closest strike to that area, but it's also negative. So, which is interesting because it's when you try to put the electrics together, if you get an imbalance, like an imbalance or without a phase, like an imbalance in charge, then it's still arced out. And so you would have had a negative field that arced out to another negative field, but one was stronger than the other, and it made a circuit temporarily. I find that part kind of fascinating because most of the ones that we look at, you'll find a positive pole with the iron and then a negative pole somewhere handy that's not iron, it's something more dielectric like lime or basalt rock.
Is that quite a close strike? Because sometimes they're miles apart, aren't they? That's
yeah, 6 kilometers is pretty close and pretty small. And like I said, this isn't an epicenter of a more larger mega strike. I think this one happened quite recently, which comes me to believe, like we were saying, that the really big ones that caused all the cataclysms in the past and ripped up the cities and threw down the balls and all that stuff we've been looking at. This one is a lot smaller, so this is within the last 5 or 6 years.
That's a man-made one with them playing and testing and seeing what they can do, or do you think it's more a natural one?
No, I think it's still natural. It's these once the region is hit once, so you can see that in the past there was a really large one that happened a long time ago, and once it's charged, if you look at what they call, it's not a magnet, it's I think they call them electrics, I think is how you spell it. But you can charge, like if you take a nylon ring or a nylon washer or something that's nylon and apply a static charge to it, even just something small like a cap off of a water bottle, and you apply a high voltage charge to it, the charge can last for weeks. It'll stay charged, and it'll stay charged in the kilovolt range, like 10,000 volts onto it, and you'll get a shock from like a little zap off it, right? But it's high voltage, low amperage. And I think this is what happens here too, is once the first strike hits, it kind of charges out. You get the rapid growth of trees and grass and water come to the surface, and it takes, so as the regrowth happens, the trees are consuming the charge. So over hundreds, thousands of years, the charge just starts to kind of come down. And then, so the next strike that hit, which is the small one, which is a little tiny one, because it didn't have as much charge on the ground. But really, the ground can only bring down roughly what it has in it to make contact with what's above, because the two charges kind of have to balance in phase to make the connection. So I thought that one was kind of.
You found a new one. Yeah, could you find a new one?
Yeah. Yeah, I like when I find these new ones. Like I haven't seen this one before, and I like it when they make the news because people like Changusca created a famous one.
Just funny bit, Chris. I was just wondering what you thought about all these sinkholes that are appearing everywhere, especially in Russia.
They're a little bit different process. I don't think they're doing a lot of fracking in Russia, like as far as the natural gas. But we get them in Canada too, in the north. And what happens, I think, with those is you get underground pockets of natural gas and methane. Methane under the ground in bubbles under the ground, and then what happens is it provides a differential charge potential. So coming up with a very increased kind of vortex, and it just warms the permafrost that's above, like in Canada, and I'm sure Russian Siberia is about the same altitude, same latitude. So you get the move.
Can I tell you something? I found really strange. When you get to places like Lithuania and even into Russia, even if they have really cold winters, they have really warm summers. They're hotter than us, and yet they're north.
Yeah.
And they're not.
Yeah, they're short and they're hot. Yeah.
Because I was a bit surprised to see holiday destinations there. I thought, oh, you wouldn't want to go, but they do. They all go to the beaches. 30, 40 degrees. I think, how can that be when they're more north and you sort of associate Russia with more colder weather? So there you go.
Yeah, it's a short season, but it's still get pretty blistering hot. Canada's the same way up north. You get, summertime in Canada pushing 35, 35 degrees up north. It only lasts for, 3 or 4 weeks. But it's hot, for sure.
I think what it is that because there is no North Pole and South Pole like they say, if people just realise, like you've got Everest in a really hot country, the mountains have got snow on them. The Alps are the same. France is quite hot, then you've got the Alps, which is really cold, and then you've got Italy after it. But like, France, no Spain. But like for those bits, it's really cold. There's warm land one side of it and warmer land the other side. So it's the same thing, isn't it? It's just they decided to call it the North Pole, haven't they?
Yeah. Yeah, once you get into the electric side of it, and start studying it from a perspective of electromagnetism, like a dynamo, and so the negative, where there's a negative charge tends to be colder, and where there's a positive charge will be the hot zone. So I think, our weather is not, it definitely doesn't follow the globe model where it's high pressure zones and it rises up and it cools and it flows. I mean, there is some natural convection and thermal dynamics involved as heat rises. I mean, that's pretty simple stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start it at this point, and let's try to build on it. I'm definitely going to go back and watch the other 22 minutes of it. Let me go back.
Always a lot to take in when there's a Chris Monk hangout.
It is. I mean, I was sitting here with with my mouth gaped open, really?
Sun and Moon's been really lucky to attract people like that with masses of information and research.
Yeah, that was really, really deep, for real. Because it really debunks his whole asteroids cause the craters nonsense. Because
for
I
sure.
said, there's no drag path. That's the phrase I was looking for. There's no impact path, no drag, no friction path, no drag path leading up to the crater, to any of the craters, which the drag path were actually, when the farther it dragged, the deeper it would get. So it would be pretty deep. It would be just as deep as the crater itself. You know what I mean? If not slightly.
Nothing's the way they told you. Nothing.
Yeah.
It takes people like Chris Monk working it out, researching it, and working things out differently because of what his field of expertise,
Mm-hmm.
But okay. I'm out driving. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me.
What are your takes on that? No, you good, family.
Yeah.
What's your takes on that? On that little video clip, bro?
It's not my expertise. It's not my field of study. Although it's something that I just learned myself from listening to the gentleman in the video. If I'm not mistaken, because it just ran by me one time, and I'm not behind my system at all. I'm walking around actually doing other things. But if I'm not mistaken, he said that on the aerial site where this location is, where this mountain of dirt or meteor site or whatever you call it, electrical site, you notice that on top of it, nothing grows. Okay. And you brought to our attention that it couldn't be a meteor because it would have drug across the ground. If I'm not mistaken, the gentleman in the video said nothing grows on it due to the fact of something. I didn't catch it, but possibly that's correct for the fact that if you both are correct. Because if it is something that won't
Do you
grow
know
on,
why? Do you know why? Because when the arcing goes in, it creates one kind of thing, and
when
when
the
the
what
arcing
goes in,
comes
when
out,
you mentioned something. What did you say? When the what?
arcing. When the
The
arcing
arcing?
happens,
Okay,
the
but spell that
electrical
for me. Spell
arcing.
that. Spell that. I need to understand what you're talking about before you go on, because I'm not familiar with this. So when you start spilling all that information out, I'm totally not listening, because I need to understand what you're
You know when
saying.
you get an electric, you know when you get a thunderbolt,
A thunderbolt,
it
yes.
it will hit the land. It's that kind of thing. It's called arcing. The
Arcing.
electrical
Okay.
arcing of when it hits the ground. So the
Oh,
electrical
arcing,
arcing,
ARCHING,
Okay,
yeah,
this
arcing.
is all
arcing.
brand new to me, so you got to excuse me. I mean,
Okay.
I can't just be bombarded with information and expect to be understand it. Okay, you guys are teaching me right now, so teach me. So we have,
When the bolt or the electrical arcing, where everyone hit the ground, it went into the ground and it came out somewhere else. But when I'm sorry, I'm not even that good. I'm not Chris Monk, okay? But there's a positive and a negative. Now he's talking about those bits of land where nothing grows. You have to watch the video because he'll explain it to you about the different negative and positive. There's different colours on the land. It leaves different colours.
right.
You know, it leaves the land differently.
Okay. When Jamaican said that it didn't drag, Jamaican, what was you explaining to me about when you paused the video, Jamaican? You said that if it fell from the pretty much, I'm paraphrasing what Jamaican said. Jamaican, you made it seem like if it was something unknown or from the or extraterrestrial, meaning outside of the atmosphere, that if it fell to the ground, that it would have shown when the debris hit the ground that it drug. And you're correct about that. The point I'm trying to make is this: whatever it was, and if it was something that hit the ground and drug, then obviously life grew within the trenches that it drug. So Jamaican, you're correct. That's all I'm trying to point out is I'm trying to keep up on a subject that I don't ponder upon. And so you brought to the table, Jamaican, that it didn't come from the sky. And she's making it seem like it's an electrical bolt that hits the ground, which I'm convinced that it is. I'm just trying to see what does it all pan out to be? Who is this character that did the video? Maybe I need to do my homework.
Chris Monk.
Chris
But
Monk.
What it basically did was when those electrical arcings were happening, it was killing the people.
I got homework.
Because you'd have been evaporated. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
I'm into electromagnetism, but not in the sense I'm into molecular electromagnetism, things that are on a molecular scale, not things that are so vast. This electrical bolt that could have caused this hole or whatever it is. I'm just curious of
you can actually find them on Google Maps. So I know you've got to use Google Maps, unfortunately, which will be a ball, when you actually look at it. But you can find all the electrical arcings. That's where he found them.
I have a question though, Pro. Like, what if this boat that she's talking about, that she mentions, that Chris mentioned or whatever? What if some type of electrical force did manipulate molecular structure of the ground to cause the crater? This just a thought that just popped up in my head.
Well, anytime we think of manipulation or anything that's causing a manipulation, we have to prove that the existence of. That's why I'm trying to get on. I guess I'm trying to get the foundation of what we're discussing, because now you know what I mean. So because the way if anything gets manipulated, okay, we have to be able to identify what that is before we say, oh, it's being manipulated. Okay, so are you saying that there's electrical currents like condensation lines or conduit lines in the earth that's causing this hole? Or I'm just trying to keep up. That's what I'm trying to do.
No, they happened on top of the earth originally. It was a build-up. I said a little bit earlier on, there was a culture of people that were actually wearing headdresses. In the sky, they would have seen these rings in the sky. And then eventually those rings caused the arcing because it became too much. But we're talking of a long time ago. But anyway, that the arcings were caused because of it was happening over time, and then eventually, dunk, it happened. But we do get some of those arcings now. They're just smaller, maybe not as big as they were, and the ones he's found on Google Maps.
Are these sites are we able to charter upon these sites freely, or are these sites restricted to the public?
Oh, you have to find them on Google Maps. He found them on Google Maps himself.
Right. So once I find one, am I able to charter, or should I say, voyage to that location?
I'll tell you what, maybe what you should do is, right, if I could help you this way, Artist is another member who would be able to do this. He's also done the electrical arkings. Maybe you should come on Sun and Moon and Artist will explain it to you.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Subscribe to her channel. Artist be dropping so many jewels. Pro is he be dropping jewels. It be having me scratch my head like, huh? You know, and
At the moment,
but
Chris Monk's not is taking time out, and he's doing volcanoes.
Yeah, that's
right
the
now,
guy.
at the moment.
That's the guy I was trying to tell Sean to look into when we was talking about the no forest on Earth. I was telling him to look into Chris Monk because Chris Monk has my attention as far as the arcing and all that. So that's what I was telling
I've sent
Sean
you the
about.
link, Dre. I've sent you the link.
All right, thank you.
On Hangout, so you can watch it
just
whenever you want.
All right, thank you. Just to kind of like maybe I can kind of touch on what Pro Freak was saying for a minute as far as being able to visit the actual sites. I think that might depend on whether that site is in what we call a restricted area. I don't think that this is something that these people are making a concerted effort to actually go out and stop people from visiting. So like, for instance, if, you know, the site that's being referred to is, say, somewhere in, you know, let's say California, where they don't restrict your access, more than likely, I would imagine you could probably go check it out. But if that particular feature happens to fall within like Area 51 or something, obviously, you know, they're not going to let you in there.
He found quite a few in Italy.
You know what I mean?
And they went bounce, bounce, bounce. They went next to each other. So they went in, out, in, out, in, out. This was really dramatic arcing that happened.
hey, Karen, Sean got a question real quick. He says, does Chris Monk does he? Because surely he's gonna do a live stream about thunderquakes, and he want to know if Chris Monk basically if y'all discussed about HARP. I think we had a discussion
Like I just said, Chris Monk's taking a little bit of time out right now because he did an awful lot of research on Sun and Moon. He's been doing a few things lately, and at the moment he's just researching on volcanoes.
No, he's talking about like in the past, like has he mentioned anything about HARP and the abnormalities coming from HARP?
Don't think he thinks these are to do with HARP. Although we can still get these electrical arkings today, but they'll be a lot smaller. These were enormous, these things, and they wiped us out basically.
Okay.
I mean, for all we know, they could be trying to use HARP to duplicate that phenomena if that's the case. I mean,
yeah,
we really don't know. You know, think about it. They got all these. Do
you know something? I hate HARP. I hate it.
Yeah, I think we all do. You know what I mean? But as far as them injecting all these aerosolized forms of heavy metals and whatever the case may be in the atmosphere, who's to say that at some point that they're not, whether they are or aren't, but who's to say that they're not, you know, developing some sort of technology where they can basically fire up HARP and then all of this metal that's within the air. Like most people tend to lean toward the idea that they're turning that basically the atmosphere into like a projection screen so you can actually see things. Well, what if they're actually turning it into a weapon of some sort?
They're making Faraday cages up there so they can do things. It's really dangerous what they're doing. This is what Weedy the Doc was talking about last night. These Faraday cages they make up in the sky. And for instance, like microwave is not very good for you. Microwave waves in the atmosphere. What are they doing to us?
And that's exactly what the cell phone towers emit, microwave energy. But obviously, see, I think, like for instance, you can take what they say in the traditional heliocentric model or whatever, and they tell you that the universe is basically filled with background, cosmic energy, whether it's radiation or something else, when in fact that probably has some truth to it, but it's a result of once again, the torus field that we live in, whereas the the frequencies involved with the cell towers and with the proximity that they're located to us as physical entities, it's harmful. So I think that as far as like microwave energy is concerned, I kind of think it's like virtually with anything else. If it has its place within the natural structure, it's not harmful. You know. So I just wanted to kind of make that point.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, just to
And
add to
goodness
that,
knows what they're doing to us without us knowing. I mean, the things we know about is one thing, but they'll be
yeah,
always doing things that we don't know about.
that
Oh,
ain't
it's
gonna never
disgusting.
change.
Oh, it's disgusting, though. It is when you know the truth more, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it is, but at the same time, even though you're kind of awakened to the ugly truth of the matter, on some level, it's liberating. Like just to know. And to me, it's kind of like that's when you find out certain information, it's like the green light, so to speak, to signal you that you need to go at it on a different level. You can't beat this thing physically. They're too well entrenched for you to even put a dent in the system on a physical level, as far as like picking up a gun and just whatever, going out and taking out the people that are oppressing. It don't go down like that. It's more of a spiritual, mental type thing, where you have to reclaim your soul, your divinity, your essence, your energy. And until you do that, they're going to keep on using that to their advantage in whatever ways they can. And they've been extremely successful with that for God knows how long. So that's the importance of the paradigm shift. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
People need to reclaim, their essence.
It's funny. Since I know how to. Oh, that's right. Y'all already seen that. Y'all have already seen that video that I tried to show earlier that y'all couldn't hear, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just funny, like, and the things that he like the nervousness and stuff he was showing. Those are things we should look for when they get hit with these hard hitting questions. You know.
I mean, I agree. I mean, people that successfully know how to read people's body language obviously have more success. And not to say that you should be out to manipulate people, but when it comes down to whether it's debating or having some sort of a dialogue with what you would consider to be an opponent, so to speak, body language and that physical interaction is key. Body language is 90% of language. Only
Mhm.
10% of it is auditory, meaning that basically a person can say one thing in your presence, but their body language can be telling you something completely different. And
Exactly.
the body language is what's going to tell you what it's really hitting for. So I definitely agree with that, and I think that we should be able, or we should actually perfect that craft as far as identifying people's uncomfortableness when certain things are talked about, and go in for the kill. If that's the case, like in a debate situation, if you see that body language is speaking to you on that level, go for the jugular. That's like with any other thing in life, whether it's a sport or a physical altercation. Once you sense that vulnerability, you're supposed to go in and turn the screws. That's how you get the results. So I definitely agree with that.
I agree with everything he said as well, because in life we all have to come to our one truth. All there's only one truth in life, that's all truth, but there's also individual truths in life. I don't have to go into scenarios for that to be understood, but I totally agree with what Dre Modis had to say. What Dre Modis said.
Mm-hmm. This has been a great build, y'all. I would like to I think all y'all people come through and build it. Even if we was a little off topic of astronomy. But it's all good though. It's all science based. We were good,
I think what you realise is that you think you know everything, and then you realise you don't know very much at all.
Exactly.
I
You don't.
find personally, I find the more that I know, the less that I know. Because it's like
Yes, that's what. Yeah.
yeah, it's like as soon as you find out, information that you can, whether it's through deduction or through actual experimentation, once you come across something that you know to be true, it just opens up so many doors. It's kind of like I kind of envision it like a long hallway, and the ultimate truth is at the end of that hallway. But down that hallway, you have about a million doors on the left side and a million doors on the right side. And instead of us being able to walk directly down that hallway, directly to that truth, we have to make all these pit stops in these doors on the left and the right. So instead of you making a beeline right for the truth, you got to kind of zigzag left and right through the BS and experience everything that's within these rooms in order to understand the ultimate truth at the end. And this is one of the things that I find, like the more knowledge and information that I come across that I find to be pertinent and valid, it actually raises more questions and makes me ponder things on a much deeper level. And I think that's a result of the creation itself and how it's fractalized. And I think that it was purposefully designed in that way by our creator to support that infinite potential.
How is that comparative to know thyself? I mean, if how do the panel compare knowing thyself to knowing knowledge itself?
I think if you find yourself, I think you have to find yourself first in order to find the knowledge, because like
Bingo.
Yeah, you have.
what,
I think when
what,
you know
what
yourself
you
as
have
a
to be,
person,
you have to
you
have
can
knowledge
start looking
about
at other
yourself.
stuff.
Boy,
Yeah, yeah.
you hit the
It's like,
nail
Careful,
right
careful.
on the head.
Let's be careful. Let's be careful, because you just said, not you, Fat of Jamaican, but everyone else had just agreed that the more knowledge we understand, the more we find out we know nothing. And so my question is, how much do we know ourselves compared to the knowledge that we seek from nature, or the knowledge that we seek from the earth?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think first really you have to know your cert. You have to have knowledge of yourself to go out and search knowledge on for anything else. However, on the flip side, sometimes I believe I use that word very loosely, that you have to sometimes have some knowledge of the physical and natural world around you in order to find yourself, in order to become one with that body, if you will, or one with that frequency, or to become on the same accord.
Fat of Jamaican, how do you tell the difference between your ego and knowing thyself?
I can't. No, I mean, I'm just being honest. That's a good question. I can't, because sometimes when I think that I keep my ego at the door or whatever, it seems to jump back in when I feel like I'm being attacked. So I don't know if that's my ego working, or what was the comparison? You said ego or knowing myself. I don't know if it's myself that's being defensive or if it's my ego being defensive. So
It,
it's hard to tell, to be honest with you.
it's definitely your ego that's being offended, because it's the ego that says, "Oh, hold on, I don't like that comment. He just said X, Y, and Z about you, man. You need to get up on that and say something." So it's not self
Mhm.
that reacts to the stimuli, if you will.
If
It's
you
the
know you're
it's the
right,
ego.
right? If you know you're right without being egotistical, but you know you're right, you don't have to defend yourself. Nothing. It doesn't matter, because you know what's right. So
Um,
Thanks.
those that defend, that's all through the ego.
I agree. Nice.
right. And
Yes.
just like as far as Pro Freak was saying, I just want to kind of try and touch on it a little bit, like, because to me, I definitely agree with what Jamaican is saying, that you need to know thyself before you can seek any type of knowledge or truth in earnest. Because if you don't know who you are at your core, what makes you tick, what makes you you, you can't necessarily view that truth and the capacity that it was meant to be viewed, because you're still disconnected from source. So in order to be connected to source, you need to know thyself. Once you know thyself, you become connected to source, and those truths are more understandable when you come across them. And in my experiences, in a lot of times, like I said, I made a conscious decision to seek the truth, and I can honestly say, unequivocally, hands down, that 45-50% of the knowledge or information, if you will, was information that literally sought me. However I came across a lot of the
Yes, I
information,
understand what you mean.
I can't even describe to you how I'm aware or know half the stuff that I know. But at some point in time in my life, that information was presented to me, whether it was because I asked for it or subconsciously I was literally out seeking it, which I was. But the point being is, when you find who you are as a person, when you become one with yourself, it's a part of that symbiosis. It's a part of that what do you call that? That synchronicity, and that information and that knowledge starts to come to you. It seeks you as well as you seek it. So I definitely think that knowing thyself is paramount.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that was,
Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just thinking as well, like, I don't know whether I would have been into all this if I hadn't been a flat earther either. Like, all the information that's come through the group and through people like Chris Monk, and there's Matt Jerome and his triangles. There's so many more people. I don't know whether I would have known all that if it hadn't been for doing this group and being a flat earther. I don't know. I don't know if I'd have been interested. But when you start waking up, everything changes.
Right. And just to kind of drive that point home, we witness this every day. Look at how many people that you may know on your friends list, whether it's Facebook or whatever else, that are afraid to be themselves because the knowledge that they're faced with is something that they feel like they may be ridiculed for learning, or sharing with other people. That right there is separating you from the truth, because you are not one with self. You know what I mean? I just wanted to kind of make that point to drive it home.
Yeah.
A lot of people are depriving themselves of the truth because that ego steps in and it says to them, "Oh, that stuff's crazy. These people are nuts. You don't want to learn that." That's the ego telling them to do that.
Yeah. This whole spiritual movement, though, changes all that for me.
Yeah,
You don't have to worry about all those things. You just get on with it. And then all of people are connecting now on a higher level. It's like Dre knows. I just always feel like, since I've met you, it's not been very long, but I always feel you on a higher level. You know?
Yeah, and I know exactly what you mean. It's almost like we know each other, because
Yeah.
you can kind of relate on a holistic kind of level, where it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like I was saying, and that's exactly why I mentioned the other night when I was on your show that I literally feel more at home and comfortable on the connections that we've made through Hangouts and live streaming
Oh.
than I do with some people that I deal with in the flesh on a regular basis. And it's
Yeah.
simply because they don't share that same energy that people like you and I, experience and propagate amongst each other. So definitely consider each and every one of you to be family, as if, you were in my kitchen and we were about to make some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches type deal. You know what I mean? I like love all of you just that way.
Maybe that's because we're not worried about like this whole ego thing. That's it's not there. It doesn't matter. We just want to get on. We want to know and want to understand more. We already know. We don't know everything. So we don't have to go, hey, I'm right and you're wrong.
Sorry, so I'm getting ready.
And Jamaican, I'm really sorry that I didn't add you like earlier on. I was so busy and I kept thinking, I must speak to Jamaican. I must speak to Jamaican. I'm so glad I have.
You fine, you fine. I knew it wasn't no rush, Karen. I knew eventually, you would come here, and actually, since you already got the floor, I'm getting ready to wrap this up. Did you want any final statements before we dismiss class?
Oh no, thank you very much for inviting me, and see you
You wanna?
guys on Sun and Moon as well.
So you want to go? Oh, if you want to, you can go ahead and plug your classroom.
Well, we're on later. We should be on with Marlena later, and Lydia, the co-pilot, if you've heard of her from Holland.
Okay, so I guess you can go to Sun and Moon Group 2.
It's
Subscribe.
not now. It's Sun and Moon Family United because someone stopped us streaming, didn't they? So we had to do it start again last week.
Yeah, they
But
censored the truth once again. But yeah, so you can plug in her classroom at Sun and Moon Family United.
yeah, 9
Definitely.
o'clock UK tonight. 9 o'clock UK time.
Okay, cool.
It might be
That's awesome.
9:30. It might be 9:30, but 9:30. We're streaming later on tonight.
So that'll be about 1 or 2 o'clock here, 3 o'clock here. So
Yeah, you want to go
in
and
the,
get out of your dressing gown, don't you?
yeah, I'm gonna have to anyway because in a couple of hours, I'm gonna have to throw my clothes on and go get one of my pickups. You know
Well,
what I'm
it's been a
saying?
pleasure. Thanks very much. And that video of Chris Monks, I hope everybody enjoys that. And you might have to watch it a couple of
Yes.
times. But
To
we've got masses more on the channel like that.
absolutely. Professor
The
Frequency.
main channel, well, it's on all the channels, but the main one, the Sun and Moon Group, because obviously the only reason I've moved is because the streaming. I broadcast something they didn't like from the BBC. That stopped one, and I'm not. Well, you understand the second one.
Yeah.
But on the actual main group, all the videos are there. Group, but at the moment we're streaming under Sun and Moon, Family United.
Yeah, you seen when the video was playing, I subscribed to your first channel.
Yeah.
So I can go back and look at it on there.
But thank you so much for having me on Jamaican, and it was great to see Dre again and everybody else, Sean and all the other people. I'm sorry, I can't remember all their names now.
Absolutely, sister.
But
Thank
if you
you for
want to come and listen to a bit more an artist showing you, because obviously I said Chris Monk is having a bit of time off at the moment, then artists will be able to explain some of this and show you the arkings and show you, like, you can actually see it like as it's there. He'll be able to show you. So if you want to do that, maybe he comes on more. He comes on any day, but Sunday is his day because we do ancient structures and things like that. So Metholithic, and if you want to come on maybe on Sunday, I'm sure artists can show you some of this stuff, where these arkings are. He knows.
Absolutely. I like his little slideshow he had that one day. When I was watching your show from the panel, actually, it wasn't on your show. It was on Marlena's panel. Marlena's panel.
Right.
She showed us a slideshow of some not paranormal, but phenomenal.
Right. Yeah.
Workings.
Maybe she'll show us those tonight then. I'll get her
Definitely,
to.
everybody out there listening, definitely subscribe to Sun and Moon. Subscribe to
Thanks,
Sun and
Jamaican.
Moon. Subscribe to Sun and Moon 2, and subscribe to Sun and Moon Family
United.
Family United. Definitely. Okay, Professor Frequency, you want to go ahead and plug your classroom, brother?
Yeah, shout out to everybody who showed up today. Shout out to everybody I spoke with today. My classroom is Dojo Time, where we take nigga shit and turn it into scholarship, where we take egos and turn them how to be gentlemen and have conduct. So I'd advise a lot of you.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, don't come to the dojo because there's a lot of ego in there. You know what I'm saying? But that's the reason why I come off so strong, because in Dojo Time, I have to train and show these little niggas, pardon my French, but this is how I get down in America. I have to show them how to have conduct, how to get rid of the ego in order to have conduct. And so over here at Dojo Time West, so you'll find me Pro Frequency, yes, as Professor Frequency.
I might have to send a few people your way.
Yeah, I
definitely.
deal with the hard heads. I deal with the hard heads. I deal with the knuckleheads. I deal with the people I deal with the Gentiles. I deal with the mixed breeds. I deal with all of the ones that people want to discard. You know what I'm saying? The ones where people feel like they're not gonna make it. That's what dojo time is for. I deal with the ones who have.
Well, maybe you'd like to come on Sun and Moon and explain this then.
I can be anywhere you like me to be, ma'am. I just want you to understand that there's no aggression with me. I just have to stay stern in order for, because I don't know who's our audience. I don't know Sun and Moon's audience, but I have to stay stern in order for the youngsters who do follow me understand that this is what it is in dojo time. As long as you operate in life with your ego, they're not gonna get any messages. And like how Dre Midas was saying earlier, when he was describing awareness and being awake, how the information just comes to him. That's how I am all the time. That's why I'm able to wake up at 4 a.m, just like a lightning bolt. I'm just excited. Is because as long as I awake, the information, the knowledge is coming to me. I'm not digging for it. It's coming to me, and it's kind of like, have you seen that movie, Spiderwick? It's a movie called Spiderwick or something like that, where this
Spiderwick Chronicles.
Yes, have you seen that movie? Have you seen how they got the house and they had to put the mushrooms around the house for the trolls not to get in the house, and because it was a big secret of their grandfathers that come to find out is, look, I work on my mind is crazy, but my heart is pure. So shout out to everybody who showed up. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. I'm Dojo Time West. My man Phoenix Bar is Dojo Time East, and all we're trying to do is teach these little niggas to put the guns down and pick up a book.
Exactly, and that's exactly why. That's exactly why I made my channel. I went from PG to PG-13 because I know sometimes some words don't. When we get real passionate in our teachings and findings, you know, some words might come. Some words like shit, fuck, or nigga, whatever might come out. That's all like PG-13. Just like when we hear in the PG-13 movie now. In those movies, they starting to say fuck a whole lot more. Sometimes 2 or 3 times in PG-13 movies. So, like I said, you know, sometimes, but for on the most part, we're just conscious of what we talk, just so we can reach a younger audience. Cause like a Sun and Moon group, her audience is so calm and laid back because most of her moderators have children that actually watch the show with them. You see what I'm saying? So even when I go over there, as hard as it is for me to watch my language, I really try to watch my language when I'm on her panel, when I'm in her chat room.
Also, people there want to learn. That's because we're
Yeah.
a research group, so they want to learn.
Yeah, so that's why I thought about because I remember me and you had a back chat before pro about reaching the younger audience, and then that was the whole thing. It kept sitting with me, just it kept bothering me, if you will, and I'm like, how could I reach a younger audience? How could we bring content to where parents would allow their awakened parents would allow their children to interact with our community? And I thought about it, I'm like, okay, we just try to keep it at a PG-13 level. I mean, we can't
I like
we
to
we
think
can't
as well. We're all
we can't keep it a
inclusive.
rated T level.
We're an
We
all
can't keep it
inclusive group. It's about having the people, and the people are, everybody thinks differently, is differently, believes different things. So it's bringing the people with us.
There's
So it's
levels.
research, but it's
There's
about the
honestly
people as
levels. There's
well.
levels to it, and Sun and Moon
Yeah.
Group is obviously at a higher frequency than Dojo Time. It doesn't mean that it doesn't
That
mean,
sounds good.
you know, but it does. Allow it to resonate. It doesn't. We have to understand that even though there's a lot of us, we were all. Well, I can't say we, but I can speak for myself. I was operating from one of the lowest frequencies known to man. You know what I'm saying? And so, in order for me to adopt who I was and learn thyself, and to order for me to vibrate higher, I had to know thyself. You know, so the questions I asked today wasn't really daggers. They were just really just observational questions so people can understand who I am. And I like
Yeah,
to
I
think
think you know what it is. It's know yourself, see yourself, accept yourself, and be yourself.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You know, and
Facts.
I
And
appreciate
in these 5 or 6 months that I've known you, Free, I've seen you actually grown. I'm not just saying this because you my homie, but I've actually seen you grown from low frequency to project frequency, and then you professor frequency. I've actually seen you grow.
and I appreciate you for saying that, because
Yeah.
people
More
need to
facts.
understand that in my life, that even though I'm on the internet and I'm making these social connections, even when I cut it off and go outside my door, I'm back to a different type of reality. And my reality reflects in my real life. My reality that I really live can take my life away. So when I'm online with you, gentlemen, and with you, ma'am, it only allows me to like have a chance to calm down and take a breather. So you have to pardon me when I do sound uptight. I'm really not. But Jamaican asked the perfect question. How do we convert a nigga to somebody who has more conduct, who knows thyself more importantly to respect thyself? I yield the floor. But Flight of Jamaica, I appreciate you having me, man. I had to pay homage and shout out to Sun and Moon as well.
Oh, shout out to you too. It's coming together, just realizing we're not alone and we don't know everything and we're learning and it's coming together and it's happening on a spiritual level, which whatever you want to call it, I call it spiritual level. And it's letting go. It's letting go of stuff, not worrying about, it's not worrying about all the stuff before. But don't forget, we're well trained as in the globe world, aren't we? It's actually letting that globe world go. That's what it is, I think.
And real quick, Dre, Midas, you want to plug your classroom or your Facebook, bro?
Yeah, because I'm under construction, but I just want to say, it was definitely good talking to Karen again today. I love going to her show. Appreciate the reception when I go there. Much love and respect to you, sister. Pro Freak, man, listen, bro, I value your mind. Ain't nothing wrong with your mind. I don't care how it operates because I'm the type of person that the words don't really mean much to me. I can see through whether you choose to use a cuss word or not. That don't mean nothing to me. And I think people need to take that and understand that you need to look past a word that you might not look and understand what this man is bringing to the table. He's definitely on a topic, on a frequency that people need to be involved with and absorb that knowledge. So big ups to Pro Freak. He's definitely one of the more powerful minds that I've had an opportunity to build with in the past 6 months. So, bro, you keep doing you, and salute to you, my brother.
We seen them
No
grow.
doubt.
Do you see though? We're all parts of a puzzle, and we all come together. We all fit together, but we're all different. But we fit together as pieces.
And Jamaican, bro, you already know what it is, bro. You my homie. And like I said, once again, I'm proud of you. You know that you set a goal out for yourself, and you did exactly what you said you was going to do within the time frame that you said you were going to do it. And I think that deserves in itself, like a ton of kudos, because a lot of people don't necessarily follow through with their plans on that level. So I got to give you mad props for that. I love the platform that you present. I definitely think it's one of the most important types of platforms to have. So I want to thank you for putting the thing together and launching that.
Yeah,
much respect, brother.
No arguing, and getting to know each other and opening up and accepting and learning, and it's just.
And I think everybody was still waiting on the 20th. Was gonna do it on the 20th, but I couldn't. I know y'all had all this information and stuff just really to bust out of you, and so did I. And then that's why the other night we was on Tiffany and Danny's panel, and we was talking about medicine and medicinal kidnapping and stuff. I was like, you know what? That was my inspiration to move the live stream up a week. Not to mention they probably threw off the trolls. I know they probably sitting there waiting. They probably got 100 sock accounts created just for November 20th.
Yeah, you said they camping out in front of your spot like they buying Jordans, huh?
And then they came in here. Some of them they tried to come in here, but they didn't realize that y'all already had wrenches. When I set up my whole channel or whatever, Sean showed me how to give y'all wrenches before even going live, so I wouldn't confuse who's a clone and who's not in the live chat. So,
and that's another one too. Since I'm here, I got to give mad props to Sean G. Like, yo, Sean G be going hard, and that brother is dedicated, and he brings forth some powerful information. So, I just want to give a shout out to Sean G as well. That's my dog as well. So
shout out to everybody who put all in that dedication, because this time is effort, and effort is time, and every one of us is putting in both. So I pay homage to all of you.
Absolutely, and there's science academy
Hugs to everyone.
content will get better, the graphics will get better, or whatever. You know, like I said, I'm still learning to this, but I'm a computer nerd. I can figure a computer device out with no problem. Sometimes it might take me a day, it might take me a week. That's why I'm always playing with new devices so I can get familiar with menus and stuff. But yeah, but before you know it, Science Academy will have a logo and everything. So, like I said, I do appreciate everybody. I do appreciate everybody stopping through in the chat. I see you, Travis. Let me do one final roll call real quick. Who all joined the chat? You got Travis Cloud, Sean G. You got Pro Freak, Dre, and Karen from Sun and Moon, Family Reunited on the panel. Geo or Jeffrey was on the panel earlier. Shout out to him. Nicholas Cabal. Who else? Did I miss anybody? I think Nikki was in here. What was that? I see you. Who else was in here? I could have sworn I seen Nikki. I know I seen Nikki. Flatlander was good. ESA, which is actually the Flat Earth Court, the host of Flat Earth Court. I see you. Let's see. Cinnamon Part 2. All right, we got you. And I know I seen Nikki in the chat. But Nikki, shout out to you as well. And I believe that ends roll call. Oh yeah, Anthem X. You know, I see y'all. Thank everybody for joining and tuning in. The Science Academy is always just discussing science that can be observable and experimental and repeated, that can be tested. You really don't need a college degree for that. You don't need a lab coat. You don't even need a science lab because the Earth is our world. The Earth is our lab. That is our science lab, and you control the environment that you're in. You really don't need a I don't know a higher power controlled environment to practice science. You know, Luke, I see you. I knew I was missing somebody. Luke Marshall, thank you for joining. And as always, y'all, stay true to yourself. Stay flat. Keep it flat. Class dismissed.